Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Oh, it's a nice November afternoon. Lots of sunshine. Yes, it's a little cool. 57 for the high. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but all is dry. 41 Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies. Going to be some rain showers developing Wednesday afternoon. 61, all gone by about 10 o'clock Wednesday night. Thursday, sunny and 59. Friday, sunny and 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too. To help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res. And if you need the carpets cleaned leading up to the holidays, if your home is not ready for the holidays, I have a great offer for the month of November. You know, some people hire a deal of the day carpet cleaner, maybe save a little money. It doesn't usually go that way because trust should not come that easy. I've made mistakes before. Don't DIY it. I've rented those machines at the big box store. Then I've still had to call Zero Res. They come over and then they kind of scold me for making more of a mess. Don't make that mistake. They have a 4.9 rating on Google with over 5,800 reviews and the legendary Zero Res Gotta Love It guarantee. Here's the offer for November. You got to mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. Don't miss this deal. Get back to clean. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call Zero Res right now and book 314-474-2020 or online at ZeroResSTL.com. Mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. Zero Res. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote, 800-296-3315. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-296-3315, 800-296-3315, or go to oxcarcare.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Governor Kristi Noem could reportedly be named Secretary of Homeland Security, which has oversight of everything from Customs and Border Patrol to FEMA and the Secret Service. Trump is also expected to nominate Florida Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. The president could still change his mind here, but right now, a source tells us he is planning to offer Rubio the job. And if he does, Rubio would be the first Hispanic Secretary of State in U.S. history. Sources also tell us Trump has also offered Florida Congressman Congressman Mike Waltz the role of White House National Security Advisor. The three-term Republican congressman was the first Green Beret ever elected to the House. So here's a look at some of the president's other cabinet selections, with immigration hardliners Stephen Miller and Tom Homan taking on senior roles as well. So Homan, the former acting ICE director, will serve as border czar, and Miller, a former senior advisor, will serve as deputy chief of staff for policy. Meanwhile, former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin has been picked to lead the Environmental Protection Agency, and New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik has been chosen as UN ambassador.
So, gosh, you just want to take a long weekend. That's all you want to do. You want to put your feet up because your candidate felt like your candidate won the election. That's how I felt this weekend. And you're like, you know what? Let's just take a long weekend. Let's just relax a little bit. Exhale. Spend some time with the kids. And Donald Trump's like, it's time to go to work. God bless him. God bless him for all of that. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Tuesday. I have to say that out loud so that I remember it's Tuesday. We saw so many of you this weekend at the Veterans Day parades. On Sunday, the whole station was in the fluorescent Veterans Day parade, and you guys really showed up and showed out for our veterans. Beautiful Sunday weather. And then yesterday, Monday, on Veterans Day, the show here, was in the Edwardsville Veterans Day parade, and that place was packed. What a beautiful 2 days to acknowledge what makes us free.
Well, it was really nice weather, so I'm sure that impacted the amount of people that turned out for these parades, because it was crazy. It was the most people I've ever seen. I think everybody's maybe in a patriotic mood too. Also, but I
wanted to show up and publicly love their country.
And man, it was crazy. Just personally in Edwardsville, and I've been to the fluorescent one too, but not this year. In Edwardsville, there were times in right downtown, kind of past the courthouse, in between there and maybe Cleveland Heath area right there, where it was like 4 or 5 people deep on each side.
Yeah, if not more. Yeah.
It was great, and everybody was just having a good time and just cheering. And I think we felt like we probably got more cheers than we deserved, because there were some servicemen right behind us that were getting a lot of loud cheering.
What do we have? Madison County SWAT behind us or something?
Yeah, it was the sheriff.
Oh.
And their SWAT vehicle. What is it, a Wildcat or something like that?
Why are you looking at me?
Because
it's a big bad thing that I only ever want to be pointed in the opposite direction of me.
Yes, we want that one defending us, not attacking us.
Sheriff Connor. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Almost arrested Wiggins one time, and it was one of my favorite days.
Yeah. That was at Oak Brook.
Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. It was wonderful to see all of you, and thank you so much to Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer for sponsoring these two events, for being a partner with us on these. Put some vehicles in the fluorescent parade. They sponsored our pathway through the Veterans Day Parade in Edwardsville. So Cassens, thank you so much. I'm a proud owner of 2 Cassens vehicles right now, and encourage you to check out cassenscan.com for more information about what they do. First of all, they love veterans, so need I say more? While we are going through this weekend, my phone just keeps pinging with a little detail here, a little detail there. Half of the outlets have called the House for Republicans. Fox News and AP have not called the House yet for Republicans. But I heard this on, I think it was Harris Faulkner earlier today. She said 2 words that I hadn't really thought of in the context of this moment in history, and it was red wave. This is what a red wave feels like. And when we were sold the red wave idea in 2022 and it didn't materialize, the Republicans still had the House. That was good. But the red wave that didn't happen, it did happen now. God willing, the House ends up shaking out the way we expect it to. I heard Sean Duffy this morning talking about how the ceiling here for Republicans is a 5-seat majority. It'll probably look more like a 3-seat majority. But that takes us to what we just listened to on Fox and Friends with these cabinet picks that have been listed so far. Among them, Congressman Waltz of Florida is the National Security Advisor. Interesting tidbit there that he is a Green Beret, the first Green Beret to serve in Congress. That's just really BA. And then Elise Stefanik as the UN ambassador. These are 2 Republicans that will have to be replaced through special election in a 3-seat majority, possibly. There's no room for error. And the point that Sean Duffy was making earlier, you might be like, okay, Elise Stefanik won by 60% or whatever. Jeff Sessions' Senate seat in Alabama went to a Democrat in a special election. When you have a special election materialize after something like this, the Democrats put every ounce of everything that they have into winning that seat. And when just imagine that we select our cabinet and lose our majority.
That's the reason I don't like
scary.
that pick. I mean, I like Elise Stefanik, and I think she'll do great at that job. But, man, you're taking a little bit of a risk there.
Mike Pompeo wrote a book about his time working in the Trump administration, of which I think it was this weekend, maybe after we were off the air the last time, that Trump came out and said, there will be no Nikki Haley, there will be no Mike Pompeo. And the irony of those two things being said at the same time is in Mike Pompeo's book, he talks about how absolutely big of a joke that Nikki Haley was as the UN ambassador. I mean, you're like just going along, listening to him talk about what it was like to deal with the North Korea thing and Kim Jong-un, what it's like to deal with Putin and Russia. And he's telling, he was the Secretary of State. Yeah. He has an incredible perspective and story to tell about the Trump administration and how he handled those things. He's the Secretary of State. Then you have the UN ambassador. And he really diminished the, not the importance, but I guess the weight of the UN, of whoever the UN ambassador is a highly political position. It's where you go to publicly say things to the world, but you can publicly say things at the UN that you, as the commander-in-chief and the Secretary of State, and you wield the entire power of the American military, you've got words, you've got actions. And I mean, it was very clear to me that Mike Pompeo detested, at least at the time, Nikki Haley. No love lost there. Is Elise, like, I'm just thinking to myself, at the UN ambassadorship level, how much can you elevate the situation? How much can you screw things up? And I'm wondering if that's really that much room there, and if screwing around with a 3-seat majority in the House with Elise Stefanik, who has been in leadership and has been a happy warrior for a cause that over the course of her time being involved with it with Kevin McCarthy and now with Mike Johnson, the Republican House has seen success. Even though it looks like they've been in disarray, they have persevered through all of this. And now you're in a situation where, God forbid, those 2 seats, Mike Waltz is in a very Republican area in Florida, but are you telling me that a Sessions Senate seat in Alabama, well, that's not going to go blue. It went blue. So this worries me a little bit. I'm not so worried about the Senate seat of Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Seems to be the two appointments that I've seen so far that have at least X in a tizzy over what Donald Trump has selected so far in with confirmation, or what, in my opinion, is being floated out there to see how people feel about it. That Marco Rubio's pick for Secretary of State is one that has a lot of people scratching their head. And then the Kristi Noem pick for Homeland Security is also like a, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Kristi, no, I love Marco Rubio. I'm on record. You can go back to my shows in 2016. Marco Rubio was the horse that I was choosing in the 2016 primary race. I think he was, I just don't count. Who was the governor of Ohio or whoever that was? He had the Fruit Ninja hands.
Kasich.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I do now.
Fruit Ninja and Kasich
yeah.
peaked at the same time. And it was around 2016 because when you watched him talk, he had like karate chop hands, and it was perfect for slicing fruit.
Yeah.
There are videos that people, well, he'd be standing at the debates or whatever, and he'd be doing his hand thing, and there'd just be fruit flying up, and he'd be chopping it in half. It's so funny.
90% of the people are like,
"That's funny."
I know who John Kasich is.
I don't know
what in the world is Fruit Ninja.
Yeah, but the other 10% are like, "I know Fruit Ninja. Who's John Kasich?" Yeah. Hey, sit down and talk amongst yourselves. I didn't count him because he was never a serious candidate, but the last 3 that were left, in my recollection of the 2016 primary, Trump, Cruz, Rubio.
No, you got it. Yeah.
And Rubio dropped out, and it was Cruz and Trump. And so a lot of people look at Marco Rubio. Man, y'all have really, really specific memories to the allegiance to Donald Trump. But the 2016 Donald Trump is not the 2020 Donald Trump, is not the 2024 Donald Trump. And all of these other characters, you know, if you're like, Marco Rubio wasn't a strong enough supporter of Donald Trump along the way, J.D. Vance called him Hitler. He's the vice president. Donald Trump's ability to win people over first with action and then with, are you ready to come help the cause? Are you sure? Okay, let's go. That's the YouTube poll for today. And I really want to know, especially if you say no, I don't want to just assume that if you say no to this, that you're just not a Trump supporter. But do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? Marco Rubio is not official. I don't think Noam is official. I don't like Kristi Noem. I'm not a fan of hers. People think it's the dog thing. No, I don't like the allegations that have not been refuted about her infidelity. As a woman, I don't like that. Her politics, probably pretty good. But I'm just not really a fan of people who are presenting themselves to be one thing and then in the background they're doing other things. And I just don't like it.
Agreed.
And I have the right to not like it.
Agreed.
I would vote for her over Kamala Harris for president in a heartbeat.
Yeah, again, because you're talking about policy.
Yes.
But when you have the pick of the entire field, she's not at the top of my list either. However, I know people who have worked in her campaigns who say, man, she is smart as a whip.
Sure.
So we'll see.
It's interesting to go back to and look at some of the things leading up to this moment in time that may have brought us to this moment. She spent a lot of time. Remember when she was going down to the border during the campaign?
Yeah.
And people are like,
what are you doing?
Okay. you putting your jeans on and your flannel shirt. I mean, that's totally something she can wear in South Dakota, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she kept making trips to the border. And I'm looking at her dog story now and thinking, wow, that shows she's pretty tough and ruthless.
I hope so.
Was there more to the dog story? She had a dog that was biting people?
Biting people and killing livestock.
And killing livestock. Was it a puppy?
It was young. I don't know when the puppy stops, but it was like around a year old.
It's probably pretty close. Because I remember hearing that and thinking, like, ooh, this feels like one of those things that publicly you either need to be for or against. And if you're for it, you better gird your loins.
You better know your stuff.
But what I remember feeling like, gosh, I don't want to split hairs here, but I think that she did right by everybody else and prioritized people over her dog. But couldn't you have, like, sent the dog somewhere? Did you have to put it in a hole and shoot it?
Well, I think that the people that were questioning her were less questioning the dog story as much as publishing
Why
the
you're
dog
like,
story.
Turn to chapter 6, children.
Why? If you have to do that, you live on a farm. Okay, I bet there've been a lot of people who hear that and go, "Yeah, I mean, you got what you got to do once in a while." However, most people don't live on farms and they have puppies in their apartments, and they're like, "You just killed a puppy."
Yeah. Oh man, I need to get the puppy cam up, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Every time we talk about Kristi Noem, you should pull a puppy cam up, and I should say, Noem, barely met him. And that should just be our thing, you know?
I don't know if they want to be associated with that.
That's a very good point.
These are very kind people. And the thought of being able to adopt a dog that I'm going to turn into a potential therapy dog to help my husband's ability to educate children and reach kids.
See, again,
I don't know if that's the direction that we're going with this thing.
You're kind of proving the whole point about the farm dog versus the apartment dog. Because everybody's going to be thinking about the apartment dog when the farm dog's really a different type of dog. So
yes,
there's a separation there.
But can we effectively split the hair here, though, and say that Kristi Noem had the foresight to... Isn't there a problem if people prioritize their dogs over their humans?
Yes.
and the rest of your own livestock.
And and like the intention with which you have the dog is to help herd cattle. I don't know what kind of dog it was or whatever, but I don't know if that's the way you have to solve the problem.
Yeah,
Like,
in politics.
There are other ways.
You don't come out and be like, hey, you know what I had to do? This dog was killing all the chupacabra at night, so I had to.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
See? You got to spin it a little bit.
Just took a page out of Hillary Clinton's book.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break here. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust Trump's judgment in his cabinet picks? Yes or no? Brad or Ryan, why don't you answer that question when we come back? And we'll get some of your comments as well. On the Annie Fry YouTube channel, that's where you go vote on today's YouTube live chat poll. Come say hi to us on the YouTube chat. Subscribe and join the conversation. You can stream us live on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, anywhere you go. Hook the Bluetooth up to your car. Take us along for a ride. We'd love to go along with you. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Lutheran education is accessible, it's affordable, and you haven't checked it out yet, but you've been thinking about it. So here's the website. Go do it right now. LESASTL.org/Annie, Lisa with an E, LisaSTL.org/Annie. The education is second to none. First and foremost, you sacrifice nothing by going to a Lutheran elementary school. They have high schools around here as well. I send my children to both. I have kids in a Lutheran high school and a Lutheran grade school. You have access to great extracurriculars, which include music, STEM, robotics, athletics of all different kinds. The ability to compete, to expand, and to learn is accelerated in a Lutheran school. But when you turn your child, when you turn your grandchild over to the amazing people who operate these Lutheran schools, you can trust those people to educate them in an environment where you don't have to ask all of the questions that you do oftentimes in your public school environment. Lutheran education is for you. It's accessible. It's affordable. If you haven't looked into it yet, you need to just start your opportunity to learn on their website. It's LESASTL.org/Annie.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. Even if she accidentally knocks out a side accent diamond, Diamonds Direct will replace it free. Now, other stores claim to offer warranties, but the catch is that they won't honor it unless you bring your ring in for regular inspections. But at Diamonds Direct, inspections are never required. There's no gotcha clause. No fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Plain and simple, at Diamonds Direct, we stand behind what we sell, and we're committed to service it at no charge for life, period. It's all part of our commitment to provide you with the ultimate in value and total confidence before, during, and long after your purchase. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find a podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Homan is what I look for, competent and eloquent. All four of the appointments that have been made thus far, Ms. Wiles, Congresswoman Stefanik, Stephen Miller, competent and eloquent. Mr. Homan is as well. Very happy with the start, and I don't think the media can in any way downgrade it.
So that is Hugh Hewitt. Hugh Hewitt, I think it was before the election. Was he on with CNN or MSNBC? But they were asking him dumb questions, and he just got up and left in the middle of the interview.
It was one of the the New York Times or Washington Post.
It was Washington Post.
No, Washington Post is who he wrote for.
Yeah.
He was on a cable news network.
No, that was one of their podcasts or their web streams.
So it wasn't a cable news?
No.
And he just was like, I'm done. And he's taking out his wires. He stands up. It's just a shot from his chest to his mid-thigh. And you can see the cords flying. And then he just leaves.
Yeah. And the guy who's asking questions goes, well, Tony, what do you think about this topic?
And they lost the other person's connection.
Oh, really? That's right.
Yes. And they're like, oh, we'll have to come back.
Well, this is awkward.
The Tom Homan thing is so amusing to me, and I don't know. I don't think it's a sinful way. I'm always checking myself, don't revel any too much. just calm yourself down.
That's funny.
Don't get too excited about any of this. But when Tom Homan, I mean, you want to talk about giving zero fudge brownies about anything.
Yeah, there you go. Right on the edge.
You've got Tom Homan sitting there just being as chill as it can possibly be and getting straight to the point. And it's it drives people crazy.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
To me, I know that people are going to hear that and be like, that's just absolutely heartless. Well, to Rubio's comments when he's being cornered, if you've seen this video recently, it's resurfaced. It's one of my favorite things that Rubio has ever done. He's walking through the hallways in the Senate, and he's being ambushed by these hard-hitting reporters who are using their cell phones to report. It's like, Mr. Rubio, do you not care about the 15,000 children, women, and families that are being murdered, blah, blah. He's like, no, I absolutely care about it. And Hamas should really knock it off. And they're like, but what about, he's like, I blame Hamas. That's so simple. That's so clear cut. If you have a problem with the reality that is ahead of us, where we have to figure out how do we effectively right the wrong of the Democrats who have spent much of their time working ways to either look the other way or to actively participate in flooding our country with illegal immigrants. That is a problem that needs to be resolved. That problem was manifested by Democrats who had power. So yeah, it might result in some people having to either A, separate their families, or B, prioritize their family and stay together and leave together. It's going to be a very tough thing to see. But that situation is one that has been created because of the Democrats who are in power, not the people who are there to clean up the problem, not the people who are there to make sure that the Americans, the tax-paying American citizens in our country, are the ones who are prioritized and safe and protected. He was on, you've heard the J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker says, what a choice of words. If you're going to come for his people, you will have to go through him. All right, everybody mentally fill in blank here. Get it over with. Moving on. J.B. Pritzker finally has defined his people as the non-tax-paying sanctuary city inhabitants of the state of Illinois. That's good that we're on the same page now. Now I understand why we feel so screwed in the state of Illinois, because we aren't your people. I'm not your people. That's where J.B. Pritzker really draws the line, and he's not the only one. There are a lot of governors who are, I can think of like Kathy Hochul in New York, Gavin Newsom in California, of course, J.B. Pritzker in Illinois.
Some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you.
When Tom Homan is talking, there's some people who kind of talk with a little hubris or whatever, and you're like, okay, all right, who's the big boy? Tom Homan is like stone cold. He is not screwing around at all. In fact, he's speaking, in my opinion, very bluntly. He's been on this show many times, and he speaks this way every time he's with us, straight to the point, direct. And I think that the directness that you're getting from Tom Homan is the filtered version.
Man, listening to him is just incredible, because it's a lot of why people go, I like listening to Trump. He's not a politician. He's not giving you the company line. That guy is ready to take your questions, media. Mm-hmm. They're asking questions that you typically would ask if you're a journalist.
The complete opposite of Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and he is so blunt with his real answers to what they're really going to do that it almost makes you laugh, because you never see, it made me laugh, because you never see that. You never see somebody giving you the full, unadulterated truth, especially about something that is going to be tough to do and to handle as a nation. This is not going to be pretty, but we're going to keep saying that same thing. Andy just said it. This is not a situation we wanted to be in. You elected Donald Trump because you had to clean up the crap that they created. This is what happens when you don't deal with a problem.
I really like that. Wasn't Tom Homan like the first? Wasn't he maybe the chief?
He was the...
Susan Wiles as the chief of staff was the first announcement. But Tom Homan was maybe top 3, if not second.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like, ooh, mood setter.
Here we go. Yeah, the thing about Tom Homan that I really, really like is he is looking at this strictly from the facts. He is not going to allow emotions to sway what he knows he needs to do. And so that's why, you laughed at it. I laughed a little bit. It's like, well, what about the families? Well, we'll just deport them together. He's got a solution, and he's not going to allow feelings to get in the way of what's right for the American people.
Isn't there an importance, too, to establish the rule to which exceptions may be applied. We have not had the rule of law in place. And when you have somebody who has the cojones to come out here and say, well, if they want to stay together, they all leave. And that's the rule. Then the exceptions that may be applied, the mercy that may be applied, is based on a policy that exists that if you are here illegally, you have to go away. I can't remember who wrote this, and I do this all the time, but I remember seeing somebody saying, like, if anybody self-deports before all of this starts going in motion, they should be allowed to come in the right way, to apply for a visa, a green card, citizenship, or whatever. Like, if you were here illegally and you leave and you go through the process of reentry the right way, those people should be granted essentially the forgiveness to come in and do it the right way. And I would almost even say that if those people self-deport, that maybe they're given a status that puts them, if they leave and then they apply for whatever the legal status would be to come here, that they immediately get put in a line, not in front of a single person who has put themselves in a position to get citizenship, to get legal status. They should not skip the line of anybody who has gone about this the right way. But I am for letting people who are here, I mean, good grief, we invited these people in. If you're in Venezuela, if you're in some third world country, if you're in a drug-ridden, gang-ridden area, and you've got two kids and you know they don't have a father for whatever particular reason, maybe something bad happened to him, maybe he left, whatever. If I have those two kids and I heard I can get to America, I'm freaking taking my kids to America. I'm trying to get in. When I hear the president of the United States saying, come, I'm going. Because that's what I can do. It's a risk I would be willing to take to provide a better future for my children. That is a risk still. You don't remove the risk. And there still is a process to come here, and there still is a process to be here, and you need to participate in it. And another thing, if I hear another leftist liberal come out and talk about the heartlessness of Donald Trump, of Republicans, of conservatives who are talking about any kind of deportation whatsoever, I think it was Anna Navarro is like, if you're going to deport these people, what are you going to do when your nanny is not there to raise your kids anymore? And it's like, you are the most racist person talking about this that I can possibly think of. I don't understand how it's a whole lot different than actual slavery. That you would import a people who would be willing to work for less than their value, that you could mistreat them, and this happens with companies who hire these people who are off the books and off the records. They can't complain to anybody because they're not in the system. And if they were to complain, they would flag themselves, and you can be threatened with your non-legal status by the person who's employing you. You become some sort of servant. That is not a humane way to treat other people. It is not humane to have people in this country who can be threatened with their illegal status to work for lesser wages, to work to earn money that, should they be a citizen, they would be getting significantly more. They'd be involved and invested in the system. We have not treated these people humanely. The system, as it is right now, is incredibly inhumane. The first thing you need to do is right the ship and steady the ship. And once you do that, then we can potentially look at, and I am going to encourage, and I have done this before, when people talk about Marco Rubio, they talk about the Gang of Eight. I had somebody tweeting at me about, oh, he was a member of the Gang of Eight, and he really pushed the vaccine hard. So did Donald Trump. It's the Trump vaccine. Just ask Donald Trump. A, people can change over time. B, we're not a monolithic group. Marco Rubio understands immigration more than most people do. He understands communism and poverty more than most people do. And the Gang of Eight, when you go back and you look at what the Gang of Eight originally was looking to propose, I think Republicans would have accepted the majority of that this last 4 years in a heartbeat, should it be what has been proposed. It's gotten so out of control because Republicans and Democrats haven't been able to come together to come to a solution. And when you look back on it, it's not nearly as egregious as it was in that time because that's how far away we are from that moment.
If Trump governs even close to the way he did in his first term, he will ask for deals to be cut. He'll be asking for Democrats to come to the table on these things.
And if he shows mercy,
well, he already has.
Yes, he has. But if he comes up with policy that the hardliners on immigration in the Republican Party, of which I'm not a hardliner at all, I'm not super soft on it. I'm somewhere in the middle. Compromise, I think, is the solution here. And I know that's not everybody listening right now. You want to talk about the people who are here, Latinos moved to Trump significantly in this past election. There is huge opportunity here about A, first and foremost, doing it the right way, and B, acknowledging and appreciating the Latino community that is in our country and what they do for us.
When you were talking about Ana Navarro, I got kind of mad.
Yes.
Because
I want that clip. We should find that clip.
That mindset says that all the problems that have come with this amount of illegal immigration in the last 4 years, all the problems associated, they don't really exist. All the human trafficking, where you have no heart if you think that has not become a major problem in the United States and in the world. If you hear, you know what, we're going to deal with that problem. It's going to be hard, but we're going to deal with that problem. And your first reaction is, what about my nanny?
Or lawn care or laundry service. I mean, they continue to come out with racist comment after racist comment, to your point, saying, like human trafficking, drug trafficking, all of this stuff we need to leave in because I can't afford a nanny that won't work for less.
And I want my employees to be illegal. What a jerk. That's unbelievable. And you're such a coastal elitist TV personality talking to people like everybody's got nannies in the first place. Like, oh, it's just the average American has a nanny for their baby.
Super relatable.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, how many layers of dog crap can you put out in one statement? That is multi-layered cross-section of crap.
Totally. Well, it's time for Wiggins America.
Okay, here we go.
Are you
multi-layered cross-section of crap?
Yeah, put that in the new intro. Let's take a quick break and come join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and let us know, do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? We didn't really get to your guys' thoughts on that because I wanted to go through a little bit more of these. Joe says, nope, trust is earned, and his last round of cabinet picks was trash. Chris says, yes, I think he learned from his mistakes last time. So are you for Joe or Chris? Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote on the YouTube poll in the live chat. Stream us live on the Odyssey app. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Shopping for flooring at a place that is dedicated to flooring. Sounds like a novel concept, doesn't it? But when you go into a store and they're selling appliances over here, paint over there, and right in between is the flooring department, it's not going to say you're not going to get a good deal or meet a good person who knows what they're talking about. But the commitment to value and quality in the same transaction at Michael's Flooring Outlet is why people have shopped at Michael's Flooring Outlet for 3 decades in St. Louis. In Missouri and Illinois, you want to make sure that you go to somebody you can trust, who supports the things you do. Michael's Flooring Outlet has been an amazing partner with the Annie Fry Show for 6 years, with 97.1 for over a decade. We appreciate Michael's Flooring Outlet, and we encourage you to check them out and see what they can do for you for your next flooring purchase. If you're looking for carpet, if you're looking for hardwood, the Techwood line, you can get all of the top lines and the beautiful finishes of flooring that you seek out at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've got 3 locations in St. Louis. They're online at igotfloored.com.
Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com wants to remind you that if you pay for your own health insurance, open enrollment ends January 15th. If you are looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers, and they will not stop. Instead, call Greg, an expert with over 40 years' experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans, if you qualify, let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there will be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. They will custom design a plan managed by you, not the government.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Did you know millions of people are getting prescription medications for weight loss, sexual health, better sleep, and more, all online? RexMD.com has made getting these medications fast and easy, with free delivery of the most popular medications right to your door. Just fill out a brief survey, and if appropriate, we'll prescribe and ship clinically proven options to help with issues like weight loss.
I've lost 45 pounds so far. It's nice to get back into clothes that I haven't been able to wear for a long time.
We can also help with insomnia.
I slept through the whole night. It made me feel very well rested and ready to go for the day.
And RexMD can improve your sexual health.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is happier. I am definitely much happier.
At RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best, Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9-million.
All right, we got some opinions on this one. Do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? Let us know what you think, yes or no. That's today's YouTube live chat poll. It is 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
Wiggins!
Oh!
Wiggins! Thank you, Brad. I was just writing multi-layered cross-section of crap on my show sheet here so I could call the hour that.
Well, the people need to know.
Right. So this
Yes,
is...
don't label this our cross-section of crap.
Well, maybe just
Who's gonna be like, gotta hear that?
Well, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised if I label something train wreck. People are like, oh, yeah. Ooh,
you can go to
check that out.
andyfryshow.com/podcast if you ever want to listen to something that you missed. If you don't want to get bungled down in the whole subscribe, if you're not a podcasting person, it's just a player. You just scroll through, find the one you want, click play, and you can listen to it at andyfryshow.com/podcast.
And if you already went to andyfryshow.com and you're listening to this on the podcast, this has already happened.
When will then be now?
What the heck?
Yeah.
What's going on? So this is Wiggins America. I've got some great advice for you going into the holiday season, Annie.
Yes. Yay!
Okay.
Did you do this for me?
I kind of did.
Oh,
I kind of did. It's because it's the holiday season. So whoop-de-doo.
And dickory-dock.
And dickory-dock.
What does that mean?
I think that was, back before you could cuss.
I'm going to start using that. FCC's not got around to that one yet.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to need input from the people on the YouTube chat if you're okay if we maybe on the daily just drop in one Christmas song.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
Just one.
I find myself using a lot of
I feel like
Yosemite
the people will
Sam.
demand that.
Okay.
There's always one angry elf. Go on.
There are times that I don't cuss, but I do use the sort of razzafrazzin stuff that Yosemite Sam does. Maybe I'll start doing dickory-dock.
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 Pickles.
Whoop-de-doo and dickory-dock, kids. Get in the car. Annie was taking a big drink, and if you log on, you can see that she's trying to hold that drink in her mouth. These are
completely before.
things that frugal people always buy during the holidays. So these are good things to buy this time of year because you'll get good deals, you'll get good options.
Yeah, I've got my eyes out right now.
I do too. It's that time of year.
It's like on a hunt.
I know, looking for Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals like starting now.
It's Black November now.
Yeah, Walmart's trying to do that. Yeah. They're like, hey, it's not Black Friday, it's every day. Older or less high-end electronics. So if you're not worried about having the latest thing, this is a great time of year to buy a new phone, for instance.
TVs. I don't know how frequently you buy televisions, but if you have a TV for 5 or 10 years and you get the TV that's like 2 years old or 1 season old, it's still fantastic.
Heck yeah. TVs are one of the best things to get, not the latest, because anymore, people don't care about TVs as much. Everybody's watching the little screens in their bed. Discounted gift cards. Keep on the lookout for gift card buys.
I hate
this
giving
time
gift
of
cards. A lot of times I'll give you guys gift cards, maybe specifically to something I know that you're doing and it's as good as cash, but I'd just rather give you a Visa card.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please continue.
But if you're going to give me a gift card to a specific place, the stack of gift cards that I have in my house that I have every intention of using, but just don't get around to.
I understand.
I've eaten at that restaurant 12 times since I got that gift card. Never had it with me.
I know. And doesn't it drive you crazy?
It drives me crazy.
Because then you go back home and I've done this with a Jimmy John's gift card that I got last year at least 10 times.
So my wife is an extreme couponer. And so if I get a gift card or anything like that, she takes that and she puts this in this folder that she has. It goes in all the cards in her purse with her. So we've got all of our gift cards and all of our coupons and everything in that. And she's like, oh, we can go here. I've got a coupon. I've got a gift card. And so we use them all the time.
I admire that.
I love her for it.
Good for you guys. I wish I were like that.
You have to devote brain space to remembering that.
What if I give her 5% of every gift card? And she does that for me too. She comes out a little ahead. I save some money.
I think she
Everybody
would do that.
wins.
She does like making
She's
money.
Follow me around.
Are you sending her on errands to pick up food for you?
Yeah, for 5% of the gift card.
5%. Ooh, undercutting DoorDash.
I don't know.
She'd probably make better decisions than I would.
I get why this one's on the list. It's not my thing. Holiday decor and supplies. Yes, you can get that stuff cheap this time of year because, especially when it gets closer to Christmas, they start really discounting it. But how much of this stuff do you have? Do you need more of it?
No, what a lot of y'all need to do is you need to get rid of your bad junk that you keep putting up every year. You need to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. But when you buy new stuff, you need to get rid of something.
Mm-hmm.
Inflatables? Anybody
Hate
thumbs
'em.
up, thumbs down?
Big thumbs down.
Are you talking about in your yard?
Mm-hmm.
No, in the pool.
What about circular donut wraps? How do we feel about those?
I'm a fan.
CDR.
Yeah, it's just a CDR. Standard CDR. Circular donut wrap. This is a callback to
Deep cuts.
years ago, Annie Fry jokes.
And I still got it.
Yes, you do.
We're still going to use it.
Out of season clothing. This actually is a great time to buy short sleeve stuff and shorts or swimwear.
I disagree. I'm gonna put it somewhere and I'm never gonna find it.
Well,
it's
that's your
wasted
gift
money.
card problem. It's the same problem.
Yeah, it's consistent. I've got a problem. Let's talk about it publicly.
No. Brad, tools.
Tools, yes.
This time of year, is that true?
I don't know. I just buy them when I need them.
Because I don't buy tools.
You
might know that
I buy
about me.
tools as I need them, or I get the excuse to buy the tool. So I don't deal shop. When I buy it, it's a necessity.
Holiday food items. The
Chris
holidays.
on YouTube says, wasn't Ryan going to surf on a donut raft?
That's correct.
That is correct, Chris. Thanks
That's
for being
correct.
here for that long. We appreciate you.
Non-perishable items like canned goods, baked supplies, and pantry staples are often marked down this time of year.
Stock that pantry for the EMP.
Exactly. Pumpkin stays for a long time in a can. Why'd that sound dirty? I really apologize. Well, it took a turn.
What do you do with your pumpkin?
We don't can them.
It's the Annie Fry Show after dark.
You're just talking about canned produce. And everyone's like, oh, this is a different lane.
That's pickled garlic.
Homemade custard.
That's been sitting for a bit. Last one is
Thank
a
God.
new car. a new car. This is the best time of year to buy a new car because people are trying to hit their yearly quotas and sometimes their monthly quotas all at the same time.
Also, aren't the new models all out in like late October or November? And so you can get like the 2024 new ones, not the 2025, and that's what
That's
they're clearing
exactly
out.
right. And so they're clearing out everything.
Yeah. I like shopping early deals. I have a list going. I have thought, like anytime something clicks in my brain, I have to write it down because later on I'll remember like, oh, I had the perfect gift idea. I have no idea what it was. But then you got to have your eyes out for specific things. And when you see the deal, you got to snag it up. You can't wait until my daughter, my oldest daughter really wants to Black Friday shop. And I'm like, okay, we can do it. Let's go. Always used to decorate with my grandma on the day after Christmas or the day after Thanksgiving. And she wants to Black Friday shop. But I'm like, I don't even know. Do people do overnight Black Friday shopping anymore? I mean, we could go Black Friday shopping at Saturday at 3
p.m. I think they do. I think it's still a tradition that stores are willing to take your money on.
I'm just like, can you take my money? Yeah, I think I'm going to try to do it this year, maybe. But I have to have a plan. I told her I don't want to just wander into the store. Jim Carfano on what's already happened since Trump elected. We'll be right back.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, we offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitamin.com.
AirComfortService.com is the website. If you need your heating system checked, you need Air Comfort Service. I'm going to give you the phone number here in just a second, so get your phone out, pop this number in your phone, save it as Air Comfort Service, and then get to that phone call at your most convenient time. But let me tell you a little bit about their heating system check opportunity. Whether you have or you haven't had your furnace on yet, I'm sure most of you had, you need to schedule an annual heating system check to make sure that everything is in good working order. If you call 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, you're going to talk to them about their maintenance plan that you can sign up for. Lack of maintenance is the main cause of breakdowns and having to replace your system prematurely. Reach out to them at 314-513-0091 and schedule your maintenance check today. If you subscribe monthly for a plan starting out at just $19 per month, you're going to get your 12th month free. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
The incoming president makes more picks. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President-elect Trump just confirming he's tapping Florida Congressman Mike Waltz to be National Security Advisor. Waltz is the first member of Congress to have served as a Green Beret. And more announcements may be coming soon.
Fox learning overnight that he is expected to nominate Florida Senator Marco Rubio to be his Secretary of State. It wasn't that long ago we saw Trump and Rubio gunning for each other in the 2016 election. Since then, they've forged closer ties.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Sources also telling Fox South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is the Trump choice to head Homeland Security. Moments ago, the president-elect announcing he's nominating former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee to be U.S. ambassador to Israel. Israel's president visiting the White House today at a time of mixed messages on foreign policy.
Two things appear to be true here at the White House. The Biden and Trump teams appear committed to an orderly transition, but the Biden and Trump teams also are both well aware of the fact that a bunch of Biden foreign policy priorities are about to be undone.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. International aid groups say Israel has failed to meet U.S. demands to allow greater humanitarian access to Gaza. But the State Department says the U.S. has not made an assessment for now that Israel is in violation of U.S. law. The president-elect has an Oval Office meeting set for tomorrow, and House Speaker Mike Johnson says there are preliminary plans for a meeting with House Republicans first.
Speaker Johnson says Republicans weren't prepared the first time President-elect Trump took office and says the GOP is ready this time.
We are not going to make those mistakes again. We will be ready on day one. We are prepared this time.
Majority Leader Steve Scalise says Republicans' goals for the first 100 days next Congress is to lower costs, secure the border, and unleash American energy.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Oh, it's a nice November afternoon, lots of sunshine. Yes, it's a little cool, 57 for the high. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but all is dry. 41 Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies. Going to be some rain showers developing Wednesday afternoon, 61. All gone by about 10 o'clock Wednesday night. Thursday, sunny and 59. Friday, sunny and 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What a privilege to be able to come on the radio and talk about one of my favorite foods in the world every week with you with Andrea's Steakhouse. What a terrific meal you will have if you go to Andrea's Steakhouse anytime soon. I always say, hey, next time you have any occasion or something like that, go to Andrea's Steakhouse. It's in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. So I understand if you're in Missouri, that may seem like, what, Illinois? I don't ever have a reason to go in Illinois. Now you do. You have a reason to go into Illinois. It's not that far, right off of 64. You'll also, while you're there, have just a great experience. The meal is obviously what you'll be talking about, but what stays with you is just what a night you'll have. The experience itself, depending on what night you go, they might have a little bit of live music, kind of ambient music playing. Their bar is terrific. It's just a great place. And again, if you've never been to Andrea's Steakhouse and you've heard about it, maybe your whole life, you've heard about it for 40 years, you need to make that trip. Go to Andrea's Steakhouse, get their steak sauce, their barbecue sauce, their salad dressing while you're there. You can find it all at andreas.com.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-900,000.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Senator Rubio, will you call for a ceasefire?
No, I will not. On the contrary.
Senator Rubio,
are you filming it?
Wait,
So I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
I think it's horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame.
That is Marco Rubio, Senator Marco Rubio, potentially Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of State. I don't believe that's officially been confirmed yet. But when you listen to that flashback of Senator Rubio being asked by a reporter in the halls of the United States Senate about the 15,000 people who are dead, and he directly puts the blame and the onus on Hamas for those deaths, says he would not call for a ceasefire. Donald Trump picks him to be the Secretary of State. I would assume there's a brand new mentality that's going to be in town, and the world is about to know it. Our guest, Jim Carfano, once again, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, we have a result. We have a President-elect Donald Trump, and from my understanding, the world has already taken notice.
Yeah, I'm really liking the team. And let me tell you, and by the way, they just announced that Mike Huckabee is going to be the ambassador to Israel, which is fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
So here's what I like is first of all, as somebody who was there in 2016 and worked on presidential transition, this is a much more coherent team. These are people that know how to work. By everyone that we've seen so far, know how to work with the president, share the trust and confidence of the president, share his vision. I actually think it's great that they're not exactly uniform on every single policy. Let me tell you why. The modern conservative movement, which is by the way, a hell of a lot bigger this week than it was last week, is not about driving for a particular orthodoxy. That's the left. Everybody must believe this. Conservatives base their desire on delivering what's best for the American people. And when it comes to foreign policy, it's what's in America's best interest. So it's not about an orthodoxy. It's not about, well, we think we should always do this or we should always do that. It's about people who believe in America and its interest and are willing to sit down with their president and make principled arguments about what the right policy is, and then respect the decision that the president makes, because he will make a decision and he will impose it forcefully, and move forward. That is the best you could ask for. Donald Trump actually thrives on people disagreeing and on people having their own opinion and on people willing to be honest about their opinion. And then as long as they're willing to trust their president when their president makes a decision to, ruck up like a good soldier and move on. So I think this is a very, on the national security front, if it's Waltz and if it's Rubio and Elliott, the Stefanik at the UN, and Huckabee is an ambassador. And by the way, I can't tell you how excited I am that he's naming ambassadors right away and putting them out there because they are the face of American foreign policy.
Can you drill down on that a little bit too? Because I don't think people really, big Secretary of State, Chief of Staff, these are the big things that nationally we look at. But how important are these ambassadorships? What is their representation?
It's funny you should say that because, my view on this has really changed in the last 2 years as I've been all over the world. I used to think, what is an ambassador? I mean, they kiss babies and, they have 4th of July parties. they don't actually do foreign policy. Foreign policy is done by the State Department, and they're almost kind of an anachronism. That's totally not true. An ambassador on the ground, particularly in a mid-sized and smaller country, has so much power and influence and respect, and their role is so critical. And when they enjoy the confidence of the President of the United States, that is a very, very powerful individual. So Trump, the first time around, had a number of political appointees as ambassadors, many of them with no foreign policy experience, who were really some of the most effective and representatives we had, and were stellar. And so the fact that the president kind of got that, and he's leading with some not just cabinet officials, but embassy nominations, particularly on critical places like Israel, that is a very, very positive and constructive sign.
We're speaking with Jim Carfano. I've been looking forward to this conversation ever since the results came in, because you and I have had so many conversations about the tone of how America is looked at, respected, disrespected in the world. It really starts at the top. And you've made the case before that should this election go one way or the other, the world will react before the next president is inaugurated. And we're about a week out now of the election results. Has the world responded so far?
Oh, I think we've already seen signs of that. I think in our friends and allies, particularly those who aren't really Trump fans, that the byword is be pragmatic and responsible. And in our enemies, that the vacation's coming to an end. And I think we're really seeing some bits of we need to be a little more risk averse about dealing with Donald Trump. I got to tell you the most promising thing, and how many times, you and I have been talking about the border and immigration for 4 years, but when the president announces that Tom Homan is a real border czar, the guy that's basically going to be sitting with Steve Miller in the White House, personally directed this effort, and working with a professional in DHS like Kristi Noem, who's a governor who gets this. I've known Tom Homan forever. This man is an idol to me. He is the most relentless, professional, committed public servant I have ever seen. He just reminds me so much of my dad. My dad was a cop, and Tom Homan is, he bleeds blue. And if his appointment doesn't send a signal to the human traffickers around the world that the game is up, then I don't know what will. It's awesome.
Jim Carfano speaking with us right now. I love that you put it that way, because the message that is sent with these appointments, there are people who are maybe halfway on their trek across the southern border. They're trying to get away from, drug gang ridden neighborhoods. They're trying to come to America for a better place. They've been told that that's what they're going to get here, but it's an entire industry. Humans have become a commodity. There are people who are terrible, terrible people who are getting incredibly wealthy off of this game that the Democrats have set up in office over the last 4 years. Does this get violent on the southern border before it gets better?
I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but it's a battle they'll lose. We can get control of our southern border. Something Tom said today, which I think people already pay attention to, he said self-deport. He said if you're in America illegally or in one of these programs that's blatantly illegal and it's going to get terminated on day one, leave. And that sounds cruel, but it's smart. And let me tell you why. Because the way this works is, if ICE picks you up, they're gonna immediately detain you. You don't get to go back home. You don't get to change your underwear. You don't get to talk to your employees. You don't get to talk to your boss. You don't get to talk to your family or your kids. You're going into detention, and likely you'll be held in detention till you're put out on a plane. And if you want to fight detention, fine. You can stay in there for months and years, or you can just agree to be deported. If you're smart and you're in this country, and if you have family, if you have kids, if you have a business, if you're smart, what you will do is you will get your affairs in order and you'll leave the country, because then you control your destiny and the fate of you and your family and your business interests and then maybe you can reapply to come back legally. But otherwise, every day of your life, you're going to be walking around wondering, is today the day I'm going to get picked up, thrown out of the country? And when you get put in detention, you're going to be put in there with rapists and murderers, and it's not a pleasant experience. And if your answer is I'll just hide in America, your life will be miserable, and you just wish you had been back home. The price is too high. Just leave, clean slate, go.
Yeah. That is wonderful advice, and hopefully people will heed it. I live in the state of Illinois, right across the river here in Mississippi. My governor, J.B. Pritzker, has finally defined who he's working for. If they come for his people, they'll have to go through him. That's what he says. I don't feel very cared for as a taxpayer in that state right now. What do governors like J.B. Pritzker in the state of Illinois, Newsom in California, Hochul in New York, when they say that they will stand in front of these people who are illegally in their states, benefiting from the taxpayer dollars being taken from those people in their states, when they say that they're going to protect them from Tom Homan and the Donald Trump administration on deportation, do they have a leg to stand on?
Well, there's no law that says they have to cooperate with the federal government in enforcement of immigration law, but there is actually a law that says if they interfere with the federal government in the pursuit of enforcing federal law, they've committed a crime. So if he's saying, I'm going to commit a crime, then he's going to be a criminal. That's just, if he wants to, try to impede the federal government in some way that doesn't violate the law, then he's just being an idiot. He's spending money and power and whatever, in pursuit of things that people in his state don't even want.
The sanctuary status, sanctuary state, sanctuary city, does that mean anything?
Not. I mean, there is no legal stature of being a sanctuary, whatever. Basically, what it used to mean was we will not help you enforce federal immigration law, which does make it harder to deport people. But what they'll do, and look, I know Tom Homan, I know exactly what he's doing. Raise your hand up and said, oh, well, we're not going to do this in my city. Tom Homan will flood that city with ICE agents, and they'll be standing there at the doors when you release somebody from jail and you refuse to turn them over for ICE. ICE is going to stand there at the door, and they're going to screen everybody that's leaving to see if they're illegal or not. They will flood your state. And the problem with this sanctuary thing is it's not a states' right thing because you actually are impeding on the civil liberties of the people in your own state, and you essentially create a law-free zone. You're telling people if you're a criminal alien, come to my community because we won't be looking for criminal aliens here. It's nuts.
It's outrageous.
And it's going to, I think, really. It's the kind of attention that nobody wants.
Before we let you go, I have the story popped up, and I think it's amusing, but I kind of feel like it puts a positive tone on the future, at least in this president-elect period of time before Donald Trump is inaugurated once again. Fox News reports that South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, I hope I said that correctly, has reportedly started practicing his golf game in anticipation of meeting President-elect Donald Trump. It says he goes on to say that he is looking forward to the opportunity to meet him. Days after the call with Donald Trump, Yoon, quote, got out his golf clubs for the first time in 8 years and resumed his golf practice. It may seem like a small thing, but a world leader is trying to figure out how to connect with President Trump. That must mean the influence there is pretty strong.
Yeah, that's not it. I'm sorry. I mean, fine, get out your golf clubs and play golf, and the president. But this is a mistake that people, Abe did this, and people thought, Abe was, flattered Trump and he was really nice to him, and Abe he was the president, he was the prime minister of Japan. That's not in the end. I mean, Trump likes to have a personal relationship with somebody. That's great, but in the end, is this in America's interest? What made Abe the first really successful world leader to work with Donald Trump is he brought things to the table that were good for Japan and good for the United States, and Trump responded to that. So all the atmospherics are nice, but it's not playing flattery in golf that's going to, in the end, get you a great relationship with Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's policy. And it's
Correct.
So good to see that Donald Trump has acted so quickly with so many of the cabinet appointments that he got straight to work. There's no time off. I have a feeling you and I will have much to talk about in a more positive tone in the weeks to come. Jim, you've been spot on this entire time since Joe Biden was inaugurated, and I'm so happy to be on this end of this conversation with you. We always appreciate you.
Good talking with you.
Talk to you again soon. Jim Carfano, our friend here on the Annie Frey Show, senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. He literally travels the world talking to the people who matter and who are the decision makers, policy makers, and influencers across the globe on these things. And it's always great to have him on. Now, when we come back, Will Scharf is in studio with us. Of course, one of Donald Trump's attorneys, a former federal prosecutor right here in the Eastern District of Missouri. But there was some significant news that came out today regarding the situation of Donald Trump's legal situation. Let me play for you this clip here real quick before we go to break. Bill Hemmer reports for Fox News.
It is 10 a.m. in New York City, and we've got a ruling based on the Associated Press saying this a moment ago. The judge has delayed a ruling on whether or not to dismiss President-elect Donald Trump's criminal conviction. These are 34 counts that came in at the end of May 30th, and the former president's been fighting it ever since, and the judge is going to sentence him prior to the election, then delayed it given the election itself, and so this is the ruling here. Just reading from the AP, a New York State judge has paused proceedings in the already decided criminal case on charges stemming from the hush money paid to a porn star. All right. The document reads, the judge had been set to decide by today whether or not the conviction could be vacated due to the ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court midsummer back in July on presidential immunity. Trump had also been scheduled to be sentenced on November 26. So this now is a whole new ball of wax.
So Bill Hemmer reporting this, and I was listening to this all morning and listening to Andy McCarthy, Jonathan Turley, Shannon Bream, among other legal experts on Fox News. A lot of different takes on it, but it seems like more of the same. The thought that I have on all of this right now is that this was a passive-aggressive move from Judge Merchan, but I don't know. I don't understand this. I'm not a legal expert. So we thought, hey, Will Scharf, he's one of Trump's attorney. Let's talk to him about it. So he's in studio with us for the rest of the 1 o'clock hour. If you've got questions, throw them at us in the Annie Frey YouTube chat, and maybe we'll toss one in our conversation as we bring Will Scharf into the room post-election, celebrating, I don't know, maybe for the next 4 years, Donald Trump's re-election to the presidency of the United States. Will Scharf, next.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
The Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com. Everybody's kind of like peeking over at their 401ks and looking at their future, and they're just like walking a little lighter. Everyone's feeling a little bit better. If you are thinking that maybe retirement is right around the corner for you, if you're in your late 50s, if you're in your early 60s, if you've just retired, make sure you don't miss the opportunity to make the right moves at that transitionary period in your life. The Retirement Advisory Group will guide you through making the right choices to position yourself for that worry-free retirement you've always dreamt of, that you've sacrificed for, that you've invested in. 314-993-9494. That's the number to call to set up your free sit-down conversation with Thomas Helbig, with Bob and Tammy Kershaw, so that you can know exactly what comes next, the moves you need to make to secure yourself as yet another client of the Retirement Advisor Group who has never lost a penny. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Reach out to the Retirement Advisor Group. Tell them the Annie Frey Show sent you and get that conversation started today. RetirementKey.com.
We've been hearing so long about government mandates all these years. It's coming true unless something changes this year yet. Then maybe it could be stopped. If not, homeowners, if you need an air conditioner, if your air conditioner is old now, get the equipment that you can still get before they say you can't have it. Not to scare you, they scared you. I'm just saying the equipment we have right now, unbelievably better than what you have because your equipment's 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 years old. So if you're looking and if your system's that old or if people are saying it's old and you new, I'm not going to waste your time. But if you call me, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois, the easiest of numbers. All right. So it's not the easiest. I have forgotten the number, even as many times as I put it up. But 314-293-2600, or go to the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
Wow, this year has flown by, and now you're planning to sell your home. You know, like you, most families have been waiting on the sidelines. Well, now the timing is better, but you still have questions, right? Hey, Mark Cox here from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria Liu for years now. Why? Because Gloria Liu is St. Louis real estate expert, and if you have a home to sell, you need to get to know her like I have. I've seen her systems, her guarantees. I've even met her clients. In fact, I'm also a client. She's different than any other realtor, and if you need help selling your home for the most money, you need to do what I did. Call Gloria Liu. Here's another tip. If you have a home to sell in Crestwood, Shaw, Maplewood, the Central West End, you must give Gloria Liu a call. Take it from me and call my friend Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for a free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Heather McDonald. You could do a list of all of the statements Trump has made that have been wildly out of context. That was turned into Trump is going to go and find that you voted Democrat, and he's going to set the National Guard on you.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I'm gone. 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more. 2 stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good Lord.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We got to start the show. I love the off-air conversations with Will Scharf, but we got to bring him on air with you. And Will, we haven't talked to you on the air since Donald Trump has become president-elect. Donald Trump, you feel pretty good about that one?
Annie, I am not tired of winning yet. It has been an incredible week for America. I think we're all having a lot of fun, and I think the next couple weeks are going to be even more fun. So it's exciting stuff.
When you were you at the victory party?
Yeah, I was down in West Palm. Actually,
Set the stage for us.
So, I mean, obviously thousands of people. We were sort of upstairs in like a hold room. I saw some great Missourians there. Congressman Jason Smith was around. Senator Eric Schmidt with some old buddies of his was hanging around. I was there. My colleague John Sauer was there. So Missouri was well represented at the party. It's a long night. You get there at 6, 7 p.m. and the race, President Trump didn't end up speaking until about 3 a.m. Eastern. Now, as some of your listeners may know, I called the race early.
Yes, you did.
I called the race at 7:44 p.m. Eastern. I'd seen early returns from Indiana and Kentucky that showed Trump running about 1.5 points above where he'd been in 2020.
Wow.
And that was enough for me to call the race. Everyone thought I was crazy. I was running around the party saying, "It's over, guys, it's over." And everyone else was a little more nervous than I was. I'm glad I was right because it would have been really embarrassing. But I was on with, I think it was Reardon and John Lamping. And they were all being like super squishy, which I wasn't really expecting from John Lamping. And I said, guys, 95% certainty. I hedged a little bit. It is done. It is dusted. President Trump is the next president of the United States of America.
When we did our watch party on our YouTube channel while Mark Reardon held down the fort here, when we would hear that you were going to be on, we're like, let's listen to Will. Like, we'll shut up and we'll listen to Will. I mean, our relationship with you on this station, we're so grateful for it. You've been at the very near the epicenter of so much American history in the last, how long would it be? Year, 18 months? That you've been really, really close to the center here?
Yeah, started doing work on all this lawfare stuff. I guess it was, the spring of 2023 and formally joined the president's team last August. It's been a wild, wild ride, and I'm just deeply grateful to have had the opportunities that I've had. And I'm deeply grateful that we've had the successes that we've had, because I think beating back this campaign of lawfare really was very important, not just for President Trump, but for the American Republic, for the Constitution, for all the things we hold dear.
Yeah, it was such a tenuous moment. We're not done with it yet. The way, as I understand it, we've got news today on the Mershon hush money porn star case for Donald Trump in New York. But if, what America decided in this election, I don't think it's too tall of an order to say it was going to make or break the future of this country. When it comes to the people who are in office, able to wield the powers of the justice system against political opponents, I keep saying this, they impeached Donald Trump over that with his phone call with Zelensky. The first impeachment was they were saying that he was trying to dig up dirt on a political opponent who happened to be not even the nominee yet, Joe Biden. They did all of that to the nth degree. If Kamala Harris would have won, what was your fear for Donald Trump and his ability to be free of this lawfare?
Yeah, I mean, look, Kamala Harris being president would be a terribly scary situation for any number of reasons. I mean, seriously, fear for the future of the Republic. One of the interesting things, though, is you go back to the first impeachment, you go back to the Russia collusion hoax, and what you see in all of those instances is, we call it the deep state. It's folks within the government who believe that their personal policy preferences, their personal views are more important than the opinions of the American people expressed through their elected representatives. So with the Russia collusion hoax, you saw these guys at CIA and FBI who basically took it upon themselves to attempt to rig the 2016 election. With the first impeachment, you saw these sort of deep staters who were so infuriated by some of President Trump's policy decisions that they felt that their views were more important than those of the elected president of the United States of America. As we move into the second Trump administration, to me, that's the great challenge. How do we recenter American government so that it's truly reflective of the will of the people and so that it empowers our elected representatives to do the will of the people? This deep state phenomena, conservatives love to talk about it, but what we're really talking about is several thousand people in D.C. who think they know better than all of us. And that's just not the way America's supposed to work.
To use a Corinne Jean-Pierre phrase, do you believe that President Trump and his administration are clear-eyed in how to accomplish the resetting of that justice system to be blind to these types of things that have caused them in the past to make different judgments.
You know, I'll say this. You look at the appointments that he's made so far in this transition, and there has not been a miss. Susie Wiles will be an outstanding chief of staff. Waltz was, I think, a perfect pick for national security advisor.
Mike Waltz.
Mike Huckabee, ambassador to Israel. Elise Stefanik, ambassador to the UN. I think President Trump is sending a very clear message about what the government under him is going to look like and what America is going to stand for around the world. And then you look at sort of closer to home appointments. I mean, Stephen Miller, obviously one of the key masterminds of Trump's successful border and immigration policies the first time around. He's now deputy chief of staff for policy in the White House, an incredibly important position. And then at his side is going to be Homan, as our new border czar. Think about it, the clearest contrast imaginable. We went from Kamala Harris's border czar to Homan, who's probably the single best person on this issue in the country. I mean, that's what winning looks like. And I'm expecting to see a lot more good news in the next couple days as President Trump continues staffing up this administration.
We're speaking with Will Scharf in studio, a former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. He's also one of Donald Trump's attorneys. I'm going to read to you what the rest of us non-legal experts are consuming about the ruling, or whatever you call it, that came out today in the hush money trial where Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felonies. He's not a convicted felon. I've learned that from you, Will Scharf, but I've heard that from many other legal experts. You're not a convicted felon until you've been sentenced. The Fox News report is that a Manhattan judge overseeing President-elect Donald Trump's trial agreed to grant a stay on all deadlines associated with the felony conviction proceedings against Trump in the final months before he takes office, a closely watched decision that allows Trump to avoid a maximum sentence of up to 4 years in prison. The judge overseeing the case, Judge Juan Merchan, granted the request, which issues a stay on all deadlines, including the November 26th sentencing date, to consider the effect of his election as president. Simplify this in the most elementary of terms, Will. What was this ruling today for Donald Trump?
So we had a jury verdict against President Trump in this New York case, which was an absolute garbage case. We call it the zombie case. We then moved to overturn that jury verdict on the basis of presidential immunity, that they introduced all kinds of evidence in that case that shouldn't have been allowed inside that courtroom in light of the Supreme Court's opinion in our presidential immunity appeal that came down on July 1st. That's an issue that we're currently litigating, and we were expecting a ruling from Judge Merchan on that this week. Now, if he were to rule against us on that, we would have a right to appeal, and we could potentially go all the way back up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Once that whole process had played out, potentially a sentencing could occur, and then we'd have the right to appeal that sentencing, appeal that judgment, again, all the way up through the court system to the New York Court of Appeals, the highest court in New York, and again, potentially to the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, I say all of that because it is absolute black-letter law that you cannot criminally prosecute or exercise any sort of criminal sanction against a sitting president of the United States of America. You can't throw a president in jail. You can't indict him. You can't put him on trial. You cannot do any of that because of the take care clause in Article 2 of the Constitution and the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution. So I think what's become clear in this New York case is by the time they could resolve all of these legal issues, President Trump's going to be back where he belongs in the White House, and none of this is really going to be relevant. So my suspicion is that in the coming weeks, we're going to see that case unwound the same way that we've seen the federal prosecutions move towards final resolution. And I've said this before on your show, Annie, I don't think President Trump will ever be sentenced in that New York case. I don't believe that verdict will end up standing. And I certainly don't think that's going to happen before he takes office.
Does that mean that Donald Trump will be absolved, that this would be expunged, that he has not been convicted? Is the conviction overturned? Like, what is the legalese behind what that means for what we've already seen take place?
So if we were to win on this presidential immunity issue, that would be an overturning of the jury verdict.
Can that happen before the inauguration?
It could. The other option is that Alvin Bragg's team may just drop this case. That would be irregular because they've already gone through a jury trial, but potentially they could just look at the challenges inherent in criminally prosecuting a president-elect or a sitting president and say that, guys, we just can't do this, it's over, and move to dismiss the case. And if Judge Merchan then granted that, it would effectively wipe the slate clean. It's really important to remember, though, and I'll say this again, you cannot criminally prosecute a president. You cannot impose a sentence on a sitting president. And I think there are very strong arguments that even a president-elect, because of the statutory duties that a president-elect has, the supremacy clause comes into play here, and a state prosecution like this New York prosecution simply cannot proceed now that President Trump has been reelected.
I think when a lot of Americans across the country are looking at Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and New York Attorney General Letitia James, there seems to be a lot of malpractice. It seems to be very disconcerting that this type of lawfare can be levied against a citizen. Do they only answer to the people of Manhattan and New York?
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to these bad actors in the next couple months. I hope that the American people understand that what they've done to President Trump simply can't happen again. We can't have this situation where the courts, where prosecution, where even civil actions are weaponized in this way for political purposes, because I truly believe that if that becomes the new norm, it will signal the end of the republic, that we can't have a robust democratic republic if the tools of law are going to be misused the way that they have been misused. Tish James has been saying, I think, some outrageous things since the election about how she's going to continue fighting Trump and all that sort of thing. I hope that cooler heads prevail, and I hope that they start to understand that what they've done is just a terribly, terribly wrong thing. I spoke at a press conference after we had appellate arguments in one of the E. Jean Carroll cases, and I said to the press, guys, this is insane. I mean, we can't have a situation where the courts are misused in this way for political purposes. That's not what the courts are designed for. That's not what the law is designed for. We contest elections at the ballot box in America. The American people spoke loudly and clearly last Tuesday, and I think all of these political actors on the left need to take their cue from that.
Well, Will said at the beginning he's not tired of all the winning, and neither am I. I just feel very just like the baseline level of happy in my life has dramatically increased in the last week. I actually feel like I breathe full inhales and full exhales right now instead of all those short breaths when you get really nervous. It's good to be on this side of the election, and it's great to have Will Scharf in studio with us. You're going to stick around for another segment, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. We'll finish out the 1 o'clock hour with Will Scharf in studio, former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri, Donald Trump attorney, in studio with us here on the Andy Fry Show. Go to the YouTube Live and vote in today's poll. Do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? Yes or no? A lot of them keep coming. The latest that we've heard here is Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. It's another good one. Let us know what you think on the Andy Fry YouTube channel. Come say hi. We'll be right back.
This is the Andy Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more. 2 stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good Lord.
RulerFoods.com. Saving money is essential these days when everything costs so gosh darn much. Ruler Foods helps you save on your grocery list with the brands that you love, that you are accustomed to. But also, if you haven't yet, introduce yourself to those Kroger brands that you can shop at Ruler Foods, of course, at Ruler Foods prices. Saving money is simple at Ruler Foods. It's as simple as putting products in your cart and checking out and saving money. You're looking for fresh produce? Ruler Foods can help you. Great meat products in the frozen meat department, they can help you. If you're looking for the standard issue, cereals and pastas and all of that, they can help you. If you're shopping for a Thanksgiving meal and you're having the family over, like the Fry family will, you can share more and spend less at Ruler Foods. They have a Thanksgiving meal for under $6 a person that feeds 8 people. Giving thanks the Ruler way. Go online right now to rulerfoods.com and you can learn more about this Thanksgiving meal for less. And you can also find the Ruler Foods closest to you. Visit them online at rulerfoods.com.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs. It's time to book your holiday parties today with Grill Master Tony. Mark Cox here. Grill Master Tony's schedule is starting to fill up. So make your holiday parties easier and tastier with Grill Master Tony for your holidays. It is the season. Choose from brisket or pulled pork or chicken and all the sides, the roasted potatoes, the bourbon baked beans, the French bread from Pete's Italian Bakery on the Hill. Also, don't forget your company parties and your holiday lunches. Visit grillmastertony.com.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? Or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with TrueHold Sell and Stay. You can literally sell now and move when you're ready. When you sell your home to TrueHold, you can cash out your home's equity quickly and easily, and you can stay in your home with a flexible standard lease. TrueHold pays property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs too. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a no-obligation offer now while home values are sky high. You could use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's equity without moving. That's TrueHold.com. Terms and conditions apply. See website for more details.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Today's poll, the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? Let us know yes or no. And then, if you say no, tell us who you want in there. Let us know. The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll, 148. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
They all allege that these actions were made on my own recognizances and that it was for my own political advances. However, if you look at the record, there is what we call a community trend. And unfortunately, it just so happened that the political hostility that was encountered by my team, and I was on 2 different teams during this deployment, they just so happened to have the Trump campaign signage. FEMA always preaches avoidance first and then de-escalation. So this is not isolated. This is a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but you will find avoidance in the Carolinas.
That is fired FEMA employee Marnie Washington saying she told her team to avoid Trump homes because of hostility. And this was larger than her. We've got Will Scharf in studio with us for the rest of this hour. Will, I don't know how much you've heard about this story, but it is even at this point, nothing really should surprise me, but I know where I was sitting and what I was doing when I read this story, that FEMA was advising their volunteers or whatever agents to skip over homes in Florida in the wake of the hurricane. that indicated support for Trump.
Yeah, it's really funny. When you prosecute a street-level drug dealer, if they're facing real time, if they're facing real punishment, more often than not, they will rat out their superiors and they will rat out the organization that they're working for. When you hold a federal bureaucrat accountable, the way they did this FEMA employee, she immediately ratted out the larger organization and the bigger picture, which isn't just she was some rogue person discriminating against Trump supporters. What she reveals in that clip that you just played is that this was FEMA policy to effectively discriminate in disaster relief aid against Trump supporters. That is an outrageous scandal. I hope that we get to the bottom of it under the new administration. But just that mindset is so fascinating to me, that these people felt empowered enough to go out and do something that is so clearly wrong, just at a basic moral level wrong, and that she didn't really even see anything wrong with it.
It's so important to think about it in that mentality. Like, if I'm ever doing anything that I'm even considering, like, maybe this isn't 100% right, I have a guilty conscience about me that it's incredibly hindering for me to proceed with whatever that action is. But to be so casual about, like, I'm thinking into my mind, like, why did you type that out?
Yeah.
Why would you type out to skip Trump Holmes if you are willing to type that out? And if you're willing to attest to it in an almost casual way, FEMA can't be the only place that has this mentality.
Yeah, I think these federal bureaucrats just don't think they're accountable to anybody. And they've never been held accountable before. I mean, if this was the policy now, I promise you it was the policy, or that there was a similar policy a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago. I mean, this is baked into the federal bureaucracy. And the greatest challenge President Trump and his team have ahead of them is unwinding this insane deep state, the insane administrative state that's been allowed to build up in our federal government.
Is that easily weeded out?
No, but we're going to get it done. No, I mean,
I'm just very happy about that.
All problems look impossible from the outside, and then you get in and you chip away and you chip away and you chip away, and you aggregate smaller successes into bigger successes, and that's how you drive cultural change. I think what we're going to see in the coming weeks and months, as new cabinet secretaries come in, you're going to see statements from the top that will start to trickle down through the bureaucracy, that good actors in these departments will be promoted, bad actors will be pushed to the side, and over time you can really drive cultural change even in these massive behemoth federal agencies. But that's going to require political will. That's going to require commitment and dedication. And the reason that I'm so enthused about the team that President Trump is putting together is that I think they're all people with the will to get these sorts of things done.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the next couple of years.
Well, that's our poll for today is, do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? Sounds like you're a yes.
So far, they've been great. Lee Zeldin will be outstanding at EPA.
Yeah.
This is a congressman with just a ton of experience on environmental issues and on dealing with the federal government, which is a key piece of this. We'll see more cabinet appointments in the coming days, coming weeks. But so far, so good.
Would you accept transportation secretary?
I don't know if I could follow Mayor Pete. I mean, you know,
the qualification standard is super high.
Yeah, the Dems always hate on, Republican appointees. Then they put Pete Buttigieg in charge of transportation.
He was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana,
and
Mr.
then he
Scharf.
disappeared for 6 months on paternity leave when you had the biggest supply chain crisis in American history.
Train wrecks.
You had train wrecks, airplanes falling out of the sky. There was that big ship in the Suez Canal.
It's maybe the worst section of transportation catastrophes.
Everything
in the
was
history
coming
of the...
apart, and Pete Buttigieg is off on leave.
I think you should throw your name in it. You would be an improvement.
And they're holding him up as a potential Democrat presidential candidate now for 2028. I mean, this is the worst transportation secretary in the history of transportation or secretaries. What are these people thinking?
Oh, man. Will Scharf in studio with us right now. I'm looking at the attorney general appointment as, to me in my mind, maybe you could redirect my thought on this, is the most important pick that he has to make. How do you feel about where that might be headed?
Yeah, J.D. Vance said during the campaign that other than president, AG may be the most important slot in the federal government. And I think particularly in terms of all the change we need to drive in DOJ, that rings true to me. Based on the press reports, they're considering some really outstanding candidates, including, I'll say, there have been press reports that Andrew Bailey, our attorney general, is under active consideration. Bailey and I obviously fought out a bitter primary, but I wish him luck. I think he'd be an incredible representative of the state of Missouri in the federal government. And I think it would be a pretty incredible thing for him to be up there. I think that when you look at the Department of Justice, you're going to have these careerists, these deep staters in that department setting landmines for whoever President Trump appoints. Those first couple months are going to be decisive. We have to get our landing teams in. We have to get good staff in. We have to get some of the sub-cabinet level officials there confirmed quickly. And we've got to sort of grab a hold of that beast before it starts tearing us apart. Back in 2017, the careerists pressured Jeff Sessions to recuse himself from the Mueller investigation or from anything relating to the campaign. That was a huge mistake that did real damage to the Trump administration. We have to avoid landmines like that this time around. But every name that I've seen in the press, being considered for that position has been outstanding. Another, other than Bailey's, Matt Whitaker, former acting attorney general.
Cardinal fan.
He's a guy with that's right. He's an Iowa guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy with just tremendous experience in that building who I think would also be a great pick. I haven't seen a name, though, so far that's really made me scratch my head. So I'm excited to see what the transition puts out there.
We have less than a minute left here, but Senate leadership, how important is it?
I think Senate leadership's incredibly important. President Trump's been talking about, the appointment process, how the Senate is going to handle his appointments, vacancy appointments, that sort of thing. We need good leadership in the Senate. I'm not going to take a position on who I think would be the best. A lot of conservatives are really pushing Rick Scott hard. But one way or the other, we all need to be rowing in the same direction, and we need a Republican Party that's really committed to getting the job done and not just talking about it now that we have the reins of power in our hand.
Yeah, let's not get in our own way here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not get in our own way. And I also do like Donald Trump's picks for cabinet. They aren't they're kind of from a few different places in the Republican Party. That is good for representing a larger Republican Party. Will Scharf, anytime you're free, we've got a microphone open for you.
Great to be with you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
And congratulations to you. You worked very hard on this victory, and we are glad to be able to have you on here to talk about it. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute with more Winnie Fry Show. Don't go away.
I hope you'll understand that I was born a rambling man.
CassinsCan.com. A big thank you to Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram for sponsoring the Veterans Day parades that we were in this weekend. It was wonderful to be out there and to thank our veterans with the Cassins representation alongside of us. They are wonderful people. They fight for, getting the acknowledgement to those veterans that they deserve, and we're grateful to be able to help do that along with them. If you are shopping for a vehicle, make sure you go to CassinsCan.com. That's CassinsCan.com. Of course, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Wagoneer. Those are the kinds of vehicles that you can shop new there. I bought a new Chrysler Pacifica ourselves back in 2019. Still driving it, still loving it, still grateful that I can take it back to them and make sure it's maintained. They're very honest. They're very good at what they do. If you're in the market for a vehicle, give them the opportunity to earn your business, and you, like my family, will become repeat customers because you know they're doing it the right way. That matters. They're in Glen Carbon, but you can find Cassins & Sons online at CassinsCan.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
Familiar names, new roles. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former Arkansas governor and presidential hopeful Mike Huckabee nominated by President-elect Trump to be U.S. ambassador to Israel.
Trump writing, Mike has been a great public servant, governor, and leader of faith for many years. He loved Israel and the people of Israel, and likewise the people of Israel love him. Mike will work tirelessly to bring about peace in the Middle East.
Fox's Mark Meredith in West Palm Beach. The president-elect also expected to tap a pro-Israel lawmaker as Secretary of State. Florida Senator Mark Rubio.
Trump is choosing Congressman Mike Waltz to be his national security advisor. Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota is likely to head the Department of Homeland Security. We have not heard any reaction yet from the governor on that news, which broke overnight.
Tomorrow, President Biden will host an Oval Office meeting with the president-elect. Today, Israel's president visiting the White House as aid groups accuse the country of failing to meet a U.S. demand to surge humanitarian aid into Gaza. But State Department spokesman Vedant Patel says Israel has taken steps.
We continue to be in discussion with our partners in Israel about these steps that they've taken, which they took as a result of U.S. intervention, as well as additional steps that we feel that still need to be taken.
He says for now, the U.S. does not assess that the Israelis are violating U.S. law and that the U.S. will not limit arms transfers to Israel as threatened a month ago, but that the limited progress made so far must be supplemented and sustained. 8 international aid groups say the situation in northern Gaza has dramatically worsened in the past month. The FAA says Haiti is now off limits to U.S. airlines for 30 days after 2 flights were apparently hit by gunfire from gangs. A Spirit Airlines flight while approaching Haiti's capital, 1 flight attendant injured in that incident, and a JetBlue flight returning from Port-au-Prince found what appeared to be bullet damage after arriving in New York. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Oh, it's a nice November afternoon, lots of sunshine. Yes, it's a little cool, 57 for the high. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but all is dry. 41 Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies. Going to be some rain showers developing Wednesday afternoon, 61. All gone by about 10 o'clock Wednesday night. Thursday, sunny and 59. Friday, sunny and 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is doubling their usual veterans discount on all products and services in November. That means veterans and active military get 10% off all month at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Details on their website. Schedule your annual garage door tune-up before winter really sets in. Just call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. We'll teach you the strategy that has helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 38 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Civia Law, S-I-V-I-A, CiviaLaw.com. When you reach out to Todd Civia to work on your trust, if you haven't established one yet, or if you've had your will and trust put together, but boy, has it been a while since you did. When you talk to Civia Law, you're going to understand why people trust him and why he's been so successful in helping people exactly like you get their affairs in order, and then you don't have to worry about them anymore. And circumstances change, you go back to him and you just make the adjustments that are necessary. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. I want to talk to veterans now specifically. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and while we are very, very appreciative of them, there are also benefits that veterans have access to that Todd Civia makes his purpose to connect you with. If you are a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, make sure that you are connected with your aid and attendance pension. If you've served during wartime for a minimum of 90 days, you and your spouse qualify for up to $2,600 a month, and for spouses, $1,300 a month. If you are a veteran, if you're the spouse of a veteran, make sure that you have that A&A pension accommodated for. If you're looking to establish a will, a testament, powers of attorney, and avoid probate, by all means, avoid probate. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. CiviaLaw.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
This is what we've known since 2017 and what you and I have talked about, that white elitists that run the Democratic Party are far to the left of many black and Hispanic voters in the Democratic Party.
Well, welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. If you missed it in the last hour, we had Will Scharf in studio. Great inside information from him on what it was like to be at Mar-a-Lago, of course, or not Mar-a-Lago, at the victory party in Palm Beach when Donald Trump officially won re-election last Tuesday night. It is so great that we had a conclusion to that race that night. I know we've said that before, but going back on it, start to finish, exhale, wonderful. We're still counting votes in California. We're still counting votes across the country. We don't know with 100% certainty what the final balance of power will be in the House of Representatives, but it is extremely, extremely likely that it'll be something crazy would have to happen for the Republicans not to have the majority there. Can everybody look at Florida and do what they do? Just do that. What Florida is doing, do that. But the introspection that some people on the left and the mainstream media have been doing since last week's election is interesting. And listening to Joe Scarborough there talking about the white elites in the Democratic Party, specifically the white women, they're not okay right now. They're not handling this well.
Yeah, this has been not just a story that we on conservative talk radio would talk about. This is something America is noticing, that the really far left progressives are losing their mind over this. I can't tell you how many people approached me this weekend, and first they're like, hey, how about this election? Have you seen about the women shaving their heads? like it's really breaking through because it's so extreme, and it's tough to watch because you're like, if you're anywhere middle to right, you're like, hey, this is either great or it didn't go the way I wanted, but I guess we'll have to deal with it. But watching that faction of the party really act out, it is really, it's almost like performance art, and it's psychology on display all at the same time.
You were talking before the show. We had discussions professionally. What happens to our industry What happens to our professional careers if Donald Trump wins, if Donald Trump loses? Like, what is the effect that might have on our future? You can't not think of that as somebody who makes their living talking about this stuff every day. But you were talking about the super left, I guess mostly cable news.
Yeah, it's MSNBC and CNN specifically. They had a great night on election night, although everybody had a great night on election night.
But MSNBC was bragging about beating CNN.
Yeah, because they usually don't. And so, but since then, as of Wednesday, basically, and on, MSNBC and CNN have absolutely tanked. I'm looking at a story from Outkick right here. It's saying exactly that, published yesterday, saying MSNBC and CNN have just gone down the tubes. CNN recorded just 419,000 people watched for the entire day on Thursday. You're talking about us beating them at that point. Like, it's incredible how low that is. And we're a just St. Louis station. Of course, you can listen outside, but it's amazing. So you really don't know what the bottom is here. I'm seeing reports now that CNN's starting to talk about cutting all kinds of staff.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you are part of the ecosystem. That's the echo chamber thing. When your echo chamber fails you, they don't prepare you properly for an outcome like this. You're despondent. You don't know what to do, and you go away.
We know this because we lived this in 2020. When people, when you lose something like this, especially in the way it was in 2020 for us specifically, because our team lost and it was very contentious, stressful. When that happens, a lot of you are like, I can't listen to this every day. You don't, if you were to lose a championship, if your kid loses the championship high school game, or if they lose the whatever, you wouldn't want to tune in and remind yourself every day about the fact that you lost. You're going to try to find something and move in the direction of new focus, try to find a bright spot somewhere else. And if Donald Trump lost this past election, there are a lot of you who wouldn't be able to tune us in every day because you just don't want to think about it. It's too painful. We would have done our best to get you through it, but you kind of expect that drop-off to happen. Hopefully you are all here, and if you're listening, you're here. Hi. But hopefully you find this as a place to go to hear the next bit of news. That's the thing. When Donald Trump lost and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won, every day there was new information about what the other side was getting to do, and it was painful to hear that. We didn't have a choice to come into work. We had to come here and do our jobs. I do look at some of these meltdowns that are happening that you visualize, you get to see. Hopefully you're not seeing it in your real life. I pray to God that you're not seeing this with people you know personally. But I really want to emphasize the importance of, letting people, essentially, this seems like a dramatic word, but I felt like this. You kind of are in a state of mourning when in 2020, having just been there, there is a sadness that you can't get past because you can't change anything that you know to be true. And that sadness, that disappointment is palpable. Like, you feel it. You have to remind yourself to think of something else. There are very normal, rational people who are feeling that right now. And they are people who you love. There are people who likely love you that feel that way. And you kind of have to remind yourself to let those people have that moment. In 6 months from now, I believe that the world will be a significantly better place because Donald Trump will have been inaugurated. He will be, I don't know when the first 100 days would be over, but it's about 3 months in, January, February, March, April. At the end of April, you'll be able to see a lot of the immediate effect of what Donald Trump's presidency is doing for Americans. And I think that there are a lot of people who are very sad right now, probably to an extent, a little frightened. I know that feeling. You all know that feeling. Feeling that way is not irrational. Having a meltdown and then videoing yourself doing that and then publishing it for the world to see, for me, goes into irrational. I don't understand that at all. I can't think of a time in my life where I was ever significantly, truly sad, scared, disappointed, where I thought I needed that to be seen by everybody. Maybe that was my message, like, listen, this is not good. This is not okay. Sharing that. But the meltdown moment, I don't understand that.
Well, it's strange in this election, too, because you're watching, maybe not to the extent of shave your head and scream at the camera, but you're watching the Democrat media ecosystem kind of have this moment where they can't figure out, because every narrative they've tried to create and everything they could pull out of the walls, they threw. And it didn't work. And there's nothing left. They don't know what else to throw, and they're realizing everything we tried failed, and every talking point we possibly could have after the election isn't going to work because every minority group and really every demographic group moved toward Trump.
What do you think, Brad, as somebody, I mean, you are a pastor, and so there's more, I mean, you can take this wherever you want to. It's not so much the God thing of it, but the psychology behind the fear that has been planted in a lot of these people. They've been misled dramatically.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you're afraid of something, not to diminish it too much, but we were all really scared of COVID.
At the very beginning?
Were we more afraid than we needed to be? It's debatable. But when you're made to be very frightened by something because you've been given wrong information, deliberately misinformed, you can't blame the person who's been misinformed for having a natural emotional reaction to said thing.
Yeah, I was actually reading a psychologist that was talking about, like this behavior of shaving your head and stuff like that. And they said that's not all that uncommon for women whenever they are in a time of serious distress. That's one of the things that they do is they will cut their hair shorter. They will do all this stuff. It's some sort of natural reaction to some sort of trauma, which tells me that whenever I'm watching these people do this on stream and live and shooting videos, that it's real emotion that they're feeling. It's real fear. They're really scared. And so whenever you talk about that, one of the things that I think, man, I'll call it brainwashing. I feel like there has been a concerted effort to back people into a corner with so much fear. I mean, you can go from the Project 2025 lines where they're talking about all the different things that just weren't in there. I mean, they'd mix a little bit of truth in with the lies around that project, and they would throw that out there and be like, oh yeah, they're wanting to do X, Y, and Z to you in the Project 2025. And just think about how often you heard people say the same line. Donald Trump's Project 2025. You heard it over and over and over again. Or the Donald Trump is literally a Nazi. Donald Trump is Hitler. Your freedoms are at risk. You will have less rights if he's elected. And it was just a constant drumbeat. And it's the, is it Star Trek with the 4 stars or the blue lights or whatever, where they had the captain in there and they just beat him to death with those are blue lights, those are blue lights, those are blue lights. And there were like 4 red lights or whatever.
I don't remember
until he
this.
finally gives into it. It's a brainwashing technique. And that's what they've done to a large chunk of the population. They've manipulated their emotions. They beat them over the head with false or misinformation until they believe the untruths about Donald Trump that are basically untrue. And you will see that it'll be untrue. And my advice to you is if you are scared right now, if you're worried about this, write down your top 5 or 6 things that you are most afraid of. This is what I'm afraid Donald Trump is going to do. And then after that first 100 days, mark off any on the list that haven't happened yet.
I really do think, though, that we have, I mean, I'm putting this responsibility on myself and on our show. And I assume that you guys are probably of a like mind. But I want to encourage you as a listener to the show to challenge yourself to not be who they think you are. There is a depiction of who Donald Trump is. You could say Hitler. Not good. There's no context in which we're like, oh, I'll take that as a compliment. No, never. He's not. He's not going to be that way. And when these people are confronted with what Brad's saying, like what are you afraid of? Be specific about the things that you're afraid of. When those things don't happen, don't be the reason why they can apply what they thought about Donald Trump to something more tangible to their life. Well, but Ryan was an a-hole about it. You know, like Annie, she couldn't stop rubbing it in or whatever. Like we don't get it. We disagree. Like, the truth of the matter is, this all comes down to we only disagree on policy. Other than policy positions that we have, we are living the same lives. We are buying the same groceries. We are filling our cars with the same gas. We are sending our kids in large part to the same schools, in the same healthcare system. What is good for one of us is likely good for the majority of us. And to acknowledge those people who don't benefit from a system that is set up right now, we can see that other people are advocating for not the majority, maybe the minority, maybe the super minority. But Joe Scarborough, in that clip we started the segment with here, where he talks about how white elitists in the Democratic Party are far to the left of black and Hispanic voters, they've been cosplaying this whole time. These white elitist liberals, gosh, if you haven't seen Am I Racist, it is worth at least 1 month of subscription to the Daily Wire to watch Am I Racist, because it is a masterclass in showing how these white liberals, specifically women, put on this entire cosplay of the inferiority of people who are not white, how because they are lesser than, it is the white person's responsibility to elevate them. There is an assumption that these white elitist liberals are making about people who aren't white, that their entire mantra is to say we have to use the greatness of our white privilege to elevate these people who are incapable of doing it themselves. You have to be racist to begin with to have that mentality in your head. It is a racist mentality to think that way, to look at somebody whose skin is not white and know that they have a subpar life experience. You've never talked to them. You know nothing about them. You see their skin color and you know that their life is lived in an inferior way because their skin is a different color. You are seeing their skin color and you are making brash, broad judgments of those individuals because of their skin color. That is racism. And blacks and Hispanics, Joe Scarborough's even calling it out, are like, that's really not for me. All these blacks and Hispanics, if you foster the mentality of these white elitist liberals, all these blacks and Hispanics have to sit idly by until their white people come to save them. Which, ironically, is what those white elitists are trying to pin on the Republican Party. That is a belief system that liberals have been spoon-fed, ironically, by the likes of MSNBC and Morning Joe and all of these crap shows that are on these cable networks. They've been spoon-fed to believe this drivel for so long. They are not going to just go, maybe Trump's not so bad. They're going to have to come out of that. Some of them never will. But if you have been following the Trump arc from 2016 to 2020 to 2024, a lot of them will. Don't be the reason why they can't get past the final stage. Don't be the person who has always been willing to put the Trump sign in their yard or, oh my gosh, wear the red hat. Don't be the person in their life who they've identified as the Trump person, who is the final level, the boss at the end of the game. Don't be the final boss that they can't defeat in their TDS to realize this guy was not as bad as I thought he was.
This is a time, hopefully, for reflection for everybody, not just politically, though. I mean, the Joe Scarborough thing, if there are people who are avowed leftists having that moment, great. I'm really glad to hear that. But we all went through this in 2020. It was kind of in slow motion because it was such a weird election that you went through it in stages where you're like, what is happening? This kind of like grief process. Oh, no, what could happen to the nation? where if you're on the left, you're having that all at once right now. So we get it, though. But there's a moment right now that personally, I went through this. I think you guys are saying that you went through the same thing in 2020, where you had to all of a sudden remind yourself what's important, and it's bigger than politics. Kind of look inward and go,
like a very active practice.
Where am I putting my hope? Where am I putting my faith? And I obviously, if you don't have that thing, I'm saying, explore that, find that, because if it's just politics, and I know a lot of people, and on both sides of the aisle, who just put their faith in these politics because it's very, very big. It's very powerful. It impacts your life in big ways. I understand it. But then when you lose, you got to do that reflection. And this is that time.
Well, I think to sum it up, I'll just put Chris's comment up here. I know Annie doesn't have her own opinion. This is just her husband's forced thoughts. And that is where we will take a break. I got to go see what Jared wants me to cover the next segment. He didn't tell me ahead of time, the nerve. Go vote on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? Yes or no? Leave us a comment in the YouTube live chat. And a reminder to stream us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, wherever you go. Crystal clear connection across the globe to 97.1 FM Talk and The Annie Fry Show. Our podcasts are there. They're also available at anniefryshow.com/podcast. If you're not really a podcast person, there's a player there. You can just click and play. Let's take a quick break and find out what Jared wants to talk about next. We'll be right back.
I love you, Red Solo Cup.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Proceed to party.
Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage, that is where you are going to access the bagel loan. You are going to be in a position to get a great rate on the best deal in the mortgage business. The bagel loan comes with zero closing costs. So when you're purchasing a new home, or if you're interested in refinancing the current mortgage that you have, you can do so basically at no expense to you because there are zero closing costs. They don't exist elsewhere in the loan. They're not rolled in or whatever. You don't make monthly payments on them for 30 years. No closing costs. Zero. Bagel loan. He calls it the bagel loan. It's kind of nifty. Look, a bagel looks like a zero. That's to remind you there are zero closing costs. When you reach out directly to Stewie at 314-324-4440, that's his direct line, 314-324-4440. You can text it as well. You're going to be able to start the conversation about the best deal for you. He can close this mortgage in less than 2 weeks. So become a very aggressive and a well-qualified buyer, purchaser, very attractive offer if you're looking to buy a new home by using the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
For the past 3 seasons of Gone South, we've covered one story per season. Now, Gone South is back for a 4th season. But this time, we're doing things a little differently. In Gone South Season 4, we'll be bringing you new stories every week with no end in sight. Listen to and follow Gone South, an Odyssey original podcast, on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how, learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team and get educated now at Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 On Command. Just tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app and stay on top of everything happening anytime, even when you're not close to a radio. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Jared wants us to talk about Winnie.
The poo?
Yeah, only when she's using her pine tray. We talked a little bit about this maybe Friday, I think it was. But the Fry family is adopting a puppy, and we are very excited about it. It's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and we've got the puppy cam up on the YouTube live right now.
Oh, yeah.
You have to. You still have to do the show, bud.
I know, but
keep elbowing.
Those
Ryan
are
on
really
this one.
nice little puppies.
They're so cute. This is the worst mom thing I've done in a long time. I put the calendar on the calendar. I put the date we were going to pick Winnie up, and so we have a countdown for it. So every day it's 12 days till Winnie. I put it on the week before accidentally. So I had to tell the kids, oh, you thought it was 12 days. It's actually 19. Whoa, I was in the doghouse, so to speak, for that one.
Yeah, I like the pun.
But we are looking forward to bringing her home. And if you want to see her, she's sleeping soundly with her litter mates on a live stream. They live stream the puppies. It's the best thing ever.
It's just a live stream of a crate full of puppies.
Yes.
All sleeping.
It's great fodder for our home to put that on. Like when things need to get done, you can put it up. And you would think that that would allow you to kind of work around the television instead of sitting down and watching it. But we always inevitably are all sitting in the family just watching these puppies sleep.
Is it going to be more entertaining to watch all the puppies sleep on the camera or to have one of the puppies?
I don't know, if I'm just going to get to know the next litters that they have and just to continue to watch them. But Winnie, we're going to attempt, it's the intention, to raise Winnie as a therapy dog. Jared is a teacher. We're hoping that we can potentially use it in his education with some of the different things that he does at school. So that's the hope. That's the plan. And Winnie was going to be my therapy dog if we lost the election. And now I'm just excited to have her not have to be sad Well,
yeah,
I'm
now you can
holding
get
her.
a hunting dog.
This is a victory
No,
dog.
Don't tell that to Jared. That's what he wanted us to speak about now, isn't it? You get he talked to you.
I got a text.
Do you feel the lift? Do you feel physically different at all post election than you did beforehand?
I mean, a little bit of a, like I said last week, it's really the same thing. Oh, this is real. Because I really expected Trump to win this election. The only thing that I couldn't factor in was, are there going to be 3 a.m. pipe bursts and stuff? I just didn't know about that. But, I've been watching a lot of data, and I just had a sense that Trump was going to prevail here. So the fact that he did isn't really that surprising. And the difference is, in 2016, I didn't expect him to win, and then he did. And you go, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah.
In 2020, I expected him to win, and he didn't. And then it was like, whoa, this is weird. So this year has been strange in that same level of shock isn't there. But it is real now.
What do you think so far? YouTube poll for today is, do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? Brad, you've seen him rolling in. Huckabee getting the UN, or not the UN ambassadorship, the Israel ambassadorship during the show today. Will Scharf talked a little bit about that in the 1 o'clock hour when he was on with us. Do you have unfettered trust in Donald Trump? Like, if he picks it, he must see something right about it. How do you feel about it so far?
So far, I like what he's doing. I mean, I haven't seen any names on there, but like, ooh, I wouldn't pick that person. I mean, I'm not one of those, like, Marco Rubio is a neocon kind of people. I think Marco Rubio is a solid conservative, and he would be a great addition. He seems to be the one that the people have the most angst about. Kristi Noem makes me go, okay, what are you doing there? But for the most part, yeah, it's all positive. I mean, on the poll, I voted yes. So, I mean, there are names that could pop out that I would be like, no, let's not do that. And then I would lose trust. But right now, I like it.
Ryan?
What's strange is that I feel less confident when it's a name I know, because I know more about them and I've had a feeling this way or that about somebody. When it's somebody I don't know, I feel like, oh, I'll just trust you because yeah, I don't know that guy.
This guy seems good.
Or that girl, yeah. And so it's a weird bag. I do trust him. I think he has learned a valuable lesson from his first administration on how important these picks are. And so you got to sort of give the guy some leeway. But it's not that he's above scrutiny. I think we can scrutinize these picks if we want to, but I still do trust them at this point.
Is it a total pipe dream to want to see Ron DeSantis as the Attorney General?
I think it is a pipe dream right now. I could see Ron DeSantis having a role in this administration at some point, though.
I feel like Florida has so many people who could handle, like, he's termed out. A lot of people are talking about, we were talking about this at the beginning of the show. If the Republicans end up with it, is probably going to be about a 3-seat majority in the House. They've already picked 2 Republicans out of the House to serve in the administration. That results in a special election. Special elections in this instance are very scary. If both of those so far went to Democrats, Republicans have a 1-seat majority, which means if one person is sick or whatever, then all of a sudden, yikes.
Or dies, or
yes,
then you have an election. So,
but when I look at Florida and their ability to handle the situation, I feel like they're the one place that I trust to not screw it up. When it comes to the Senate seat that would be vacated by Marco Rubio, I would love to see Ron DeSantis in the Senate, but I just feel like almost that it's like hard to be like, oh, the Senate isn't good enough for him. The Senate would be wonderful, but I would rather see him in a more influential position. I like Ron DeSantis. I like Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio and Ron DeSantis are my B1 and C1 picks for president for the next go around when we have this opportunity, if it's not J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a current senator from Ohio. He's obviously going to become the vice president, which means his Senate seat's going to be vacated. So there's an Ohio seat that's open. A lot of people are saying Vivek Ramaswamy is a really good choice for that. I think that Vivek would be wonderful in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I think about Ron DeSantis in the Senate, I think, gosh, I don't know if that's the best usage of his skills. Vivek Ramaswamy in the Senate, I feel like, is the best usage for his skills.
yeah, absolutely. But give that guy a platform and let him go. And he wouldn't be every day either. He wouldn't be Corinne Jean-Pierre up there doing press secretary. People have talked about that too. He would be a valuable voice in the Republican Senate. Crazier things have happened. I would be surprised still to see him get that seat in Ohio. But, if he lives there and he's among the conversation.
Why would you be surprised by it? Who do you think from Ohio is?
I don't know. Like, whenever those kind of names come up and they're like, oh, that'd be a Republican dream team, I just sort of curtail my expectations because that's usually not the way it ends up going. But I could see it.
I was going to say, when you think about it, Mike DeWine is a Republican. I mean, he's a little squishy, but he's a Republican. Why wouldn't he put the Republican dream team in the Ohio Senate?
Because I just don't trust Republican states. Like the good old
you
boy.
Trust the federal government?
Yeah, very much more now.
Let me ask you a question. If it were Vivek,
it's growing on me.
If Vivek was in Rubio's seat and Rubio got promoted, or in Florida as a resident, would you trust Florida Republican statehood to put Vivek in?
Yeah, possibly. I just don't trust the good old boy club.
So it's just
of state governments.
It's just DeWine that's got you going.
Well,
I don't know if he's going to do that.
A lot of them. I mean, they have these people that they've been friends with for a long time, and now I got this opportunity. You can see that. I will say one other thing about the fact that they keep talking about, and Rubio is kind of the catalyst for this conversation. The media is still saying, and I don't think they're even trying to there's so many times we talk about stuff the media is saying, and they're clearly spinning. There's a word they keep using to talk about his picks that I don't even know if they're trying to use it. They keep talking about, well, he's a Trump loyalist. And you're like, who picks disloyal people to be a part of their cabinet?
I just don't really... I don't feel like I need to explain myself too much because I have 15 hours a week of explaining myself. So when I say this and you clip it out and it can be used against me, I'm sensitive to that thought. But your brand can't be only that you are ultra MAGA all the time. Like, that can't be the whole substance of the reason why anybody knows you. And there are some people who are like that. I feel like Carrie Lake is like that. That she hitched her wagon to the MAGA brand and thought she'd sail the MAGA ship right into the governorship and then the Senate. And I just thought to myself, like, that's not enough. I need more from you than that. And it proved to not be enough. Gosh, I was reading a story about the Nevada-Arizona split ticket.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild. There's a third state. Where's the third state? It's not Pennsylvania.
It's probably Wisconsin or Michigan, where
Maybe
they're having people
Wisconsin.
splitting. Yeah.
But the people, like the amount of people who voted for Trump and didn't vote for Carrie Lake or Sam Brown. There has to be substance behind it. I think Vivek has great substance behind it. There's parts of Vivek that kind of make me go, oh my gosh. But when you watch him in town halls and people approach him who don't agree with him or who are ready to go to the mat with him, he listens to them. And most of the time, by the end, they don't necessarily leave with agreement, but they do leave with a grown mutual respect for one another. I want that.
Lake is good at that too. And that's part of the MAGA thing, that people want somebody who's willing to fight and win against the media, against the stupid narratives that are out there. And I think that's what Lake has ridden to primary nominations that hasn't gotten her over the hump. Whereas somebody like Ramaswamy actually has a little more substance. He's willing to fight like that, but he's got more substance to what he's saying.
I was driving in today, and I don't know why the thought occurred to me, but running for president, the way Vivek Ramaswamy ran for president, now looking at where we are right now, flawless.
Yeah, right.
I don't think Vivek ever... he probably did. Did he ever actually think he was going to become the president of the United States? Like, you're shaking your head like, no, obviously not.
Of course not.
But when you're running, there's got to be moments where you're like, what if I was the president of the United States? I'm closer than most people.
Say it loud enough. When I'm president.
Yes. But his whole candidacy, like one of the first things he did to truly make a name for himself is to say, if I become president, I'm pardoning Donald Trump. Will everybody else in this race do the same? That was that was one of the things that he did to make a dramatic name for himself from the get-go, and it stuck. And he was Donald Trump on the debate stage.
Mm-hmm.
He was Trump's advocate, like the ambassador to the debate.
Ambassador for the Don.
Yes. Really, really smart. Really, really smart.
And Doug Burgum, too. I mean, that guy ran a flawless campaign.
Except for when he broke his leg right before the debate.
That does hurt you. But Chris Christie's another one that's like Kerry Lake. Republicans like that guy because he just fought the media. He wasn't that conservative. He did win a couple elections, but they've kind of went away from him. Kerry Lake's the same way. She never won an election, though.
Chris Christie, I mean, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I would take Chris Christie as the governor of the state of Illinois in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
I'd campaign for him. The state of Republican politics in Illinois is such a dumpster fire. You're like anything else. But on a national stage, no, that ain't it. Let's take a quick break. We'll get the results of the poll today. Do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? They're coming in fast. Officer Gary says, yes, I trust Trump to choose his cabinet, especially this time around. And Kate says, yes, also bonus for spelling judgment correctly. That's the little things. Let's take a quick break. We'll get the results when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know what you're going through. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty knows selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in our area. Hey, Mark Cox here. If you need to sell and buy at the same time, this is for you. Gloria Lou has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program. That gets you the most money possible for your current home and allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles. Gloria Lou makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing this for more than 21 years. Why risk working with an average realtor when you can work with the best? The name to remember is Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com, 314-325-6888 or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
So I want to talk to you about STS Armory online at sts-armory.com. If you are looking for someone to educate you, if you're looking for somebody who can help you with the knowledge, the expertise that you need in order to be smarter with your firearm, more skilled at your firearm, more knowledgeable about all the legal stuff that surrounds the carrying of your firearm, STS Armory, that is who you go to. Online at sts-armory.com. I want to highlight Monday, November 25th, is the Empowering Your Personal Security Skills event. Free Ready, Set, Protect seminar. If you go to sts-armory.com, you're going to be able to see this. It is a seminar starting at 6 p.m. at the Heights Community location there. sts-armory.com for everything that you need to know about firearms in the state of Illinois, located in Pontoon Beach. Katie and Jesse are the absolute best. Reach out to them online at sts-armory.com.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, We offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
We are talking about Trump's cabinet picks today. Do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? That's the YouTube live chat poll. You find it by going to YouTube and typing in Annie Fry, and then the YouTube live chat poll will be there on the live stream, which you can watch as well. And it's a simple yes or no to the question, so let us know what you think. 252. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
SherryKelly.com.
Take a seat, right over there, sat on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare, and I'm unaware of just how we got into this mess. Got so aggressive.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Why don't you come on over? I can't just let you go. Oh, baby.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks, yes or no? It just seems kind of weird to me that you would be, at this point, like cheering on the results of the election and be like, I don't trust him at all. Like, at this point, has this man not earned the right to determine whether someone is, I think that the measuring stick that a lot of people are using is, are they MAGA enough?
Well, yeah, you're right. He has earned your trust at this point, and he did not go into 2016 with as much knowledge as he's coming into 2024. He was trusting that a lot of people would give him good advice and give him good advice on who to give him advice, and it just didn't go well. I'm really looking forward to a second try at Rex Tillerson. That is a joke. Figured I'd sneak that in right at the end of the show. But
Everyone's
there was
like,
a lot
I
of,
remember that name.
there's a lot of picks like that you're just like, man, that stuff, I don't see it happening. It won't be perfect. There will be people that make decisions that you're like, that's not exactly what I would hope for. But at this point in the game, you got to trust the guy and let him fill out the cabinet.
Do you feel like you trust in him?
Yeah, I do. I think that he's going to make better decisions than he did the first time around. The first time around, those decisions were made because he was kind of fresh and kind of new. So I think that looking at Tom Homan as borders are really gives me comfort because, that's one of the promises that he was making.
It's not even like that's just a manifested title, right?
Yeah, it's not a.
It's not like the borders are. I hate the word czar. It's way too Russian sounding.
It's Russian.
But he's supposed to work hand in hand with, what is it, the Secretary of our Department of Homeland Security, that whatever Mayorkas is, he's supposed to work hand in hand with that person to get stuff done. And if his whole goal there is to secure the border and deport illegal aliens, I think that he is right on the right path. So I look at this and I don't see any like Reince Priebus's or anything like that going in there. So yeah, I trust him.
Apparently, Joe Biden was asked in a press conference today. He had, was it the Israeli ambassador that was in there talking with him, gave him a gift and thanked him for his commitment to Israel, supporting Israel in his tenure or whatever. But Israeli Channel 13 reporter Neria Krause asked President Joe Biden, if he thinks that he can get a hostage deal done by the end of his term. Joe Biden answered, do you think you can get hit in the head by that camera behind you?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't even know what that means.
What's the implication? Is that a yes or a no?
Joe Biden's still doing Joe Biden things.
Yeah, okay. He's still the president of the United States, apparently.
When we broke last Friday at the end of the show, there was mounting pressure for Sotomayor to step down because apparently being 70 and diabetic is now like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Where have you been? What have you been doing this whole time? If now all of a sudden you're like really worried about this state of mental health and abilities, she has since then said, no, I'm not stepping down. Will that change? I don't know. But do you think there's any possibility that Kamala Harris, I've said this for a long time, that President Biden would step down and Kamala Harris would get to be the president? I think that Joe and Jill will do everything in their power to make sure that doesn't happen. But
I think there's as much chance of that as a camera hitting you in the back of the head right now.
Okay, look over my shoulder. The YouTube live chat poll for today, do you trust Trump's judgment on his cabinet picks? 374 votes today. 89% of you said yes. So we will continue to watch. The news keeps rolling in on these important picks, establishing exactly how this administration will govern in January when Donald Trump is re-inaugurated into the office of the presidency. Thank you for being with us. AnnieFryShow.com/podcast to listen to our podcasts. You can stream us on the Odyssey app. Keep it right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
TheDiamondShop.net. That's TheDiamondShop.net. If you're shopping for jewelry, make sure that you visit the Diamond Shop for those needs, especially moving into the holiday season, because the customized jewelry that you can get taken care of at the Diamond Shop, second to none. When you meet Tom and Mona and the family that runs and operates this wonderful business in Clayton, you'll quickly understand how they have become a generational jeweler for so many different people. They have a wide selection of engagement and wedding rings. They have fine jewelry, watches as well, but they do more than just simply jewelry. They also do jewelry and watch repairs. They do appraisals. They also buy gold. When you are working with the Diamond Shop, you can spread out those payments because they have special financing available with 6 months, same as cash financing. The Diamond Shop is located in Clayton and has been serving St. Louis since 1910. For all the information you need and to become a VIP, go to thediamondshop.net.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Mars.